Is today's death delivery shipment in? How can an undead even die? Give me something useful this time. Don't just tell me to get more sun.
Mr. Byron, here's the last payment for your last mission.
Huh. Another piece of complete garbage.
Filthy undead. Ancient traitor!
Hey, Fred, lies are the original sin. Your breath stinks more than the mines.
Oh! Kill the traitor!
Please don't fight here.
This relic is from the dawn of creation. It holds so many truths.
Descendants of traitors, eternal repentance! Nucleus control, privileges, curse, all plain lies. They broke the pact.
The history of the Wastes has been rewritten. The nobles fear the truth. Aha! Immortality isn't a curse after all. These arrogant snakes think they can step on us? Your glory days are coming to an end!
This dangerous man snooping around again. He's becoming a problem.
No matter. He won't be a problem for much longer. I've got an urgent job. Here's the deposit.
No rush jobs. I'm fully booked. I need to study new ways to die. Unless 3 times the usual, plus 1 solid lead to break my immortality curse.
Done.
Perfect timing. She might have the clue I need. The Nucleus Council has a haunting and needs me to clean it up. This job's gonna be fun.
The show's about to begin.
Tidak ada kata menyerah di kamus kami.
Putting in the top grind, all my squad is pop gallant. No words are needed for trust, we got the confidence. See you flicking, slipping now, how you feeling confident?
Magkakasama palagi. Kami ang PPL.
Take a breath, can I play this good than this? You gon' pay the price.
Já caminhamos uma longa jornada nos campos de batalha de Honor of Kings.
Come on, never. Casting off the sky, fighting on the edge. Every time we fall, we get back again.
Semalam telah berlalu. Hari ini kami buru kejuaraan.
Congratulations!
seer's glory, bound by lies and pacts. She will destroy our pact.
Golden in the top, crying, almost fought this pop talent. The words are needed for truth, we got the confidence. See you flicking, slipping now, how you couldn't copy this. Better step it up, you're ready all the time. Get now, take a breath. You know, take this for the minutes, you will pay the price. Set the trap, got my body's in the back, you better think it twice. Come on, never. Casting up the shadows, yeah, I'm on my way. Stand against the fate, we will be the same. Sleeper, step again. We're gonna dream it up high, to live in the sky. You never stop me fighting on the edge. Every time we fall, we get back again. If we're taking, we'll let us take. Now it's ground time, we're ready for the win. Burning the flame. Forever what we did. And I reach for the sky. It's on the top, we gonna die. I'm a warrior, fighting for the king. Running for the name. Looking up a fight, we can never die. I gotta be calm, I gotta be strong. It's time to take down all these enemies. My willpower, infinite. We're passing the limits, we're running the game. We're the makers, breaking all the thousand borders. Game changers, just sit back and see me conquer. We're stacking up, I'm with the killing spree. No, ain't nobody can stop us from chasing the glory and nada. Casting out the shadows, yeah, I'm on my way. Stand against the fate, we will be the same. Sleeper, step again. We're gonna dream it up high to live in the sky. You never stop me fighting on the edge. Every time we fall, we get back again. Chances we're taking, we'll let us fade out. Now it's prime time, we're ready for the win. Honor. Burning in the flame. Forever what we did. I reach for the sky. It's on the top, we gonna die. I'm a warrior. Running for the king. Running for the name. Write our story, give us glory. Gotta take it all that I can. Turn it up, you know my name. Fortune and fate, we're not the same. Yeah, this is our stage, we dominate. I got lightning running through my veins. Not a trace of fear, my heart eyes burning into flames. All the things will make you learn. So it's better we are deep beyond our way. We are burning up the flame. Forever won't be tamed. Put it up a fight and reach for the sky. It's on the prime time. We gonna die. Riding for the king. Running for the name. We can never die.
have seen teams leave the stage of KIC 2025 here in Manila, Philippines, and also teams advance to the knockout stage here in day number 4 of the Honor of Kings International Championship 2025. I'm your guest host for today, Sagi, and also with me is our caster duo, Kin and also Holler. Welcome back, Kin.
Hello, it is time to see the journey of the two teams here. It's gonna be Alpha 7 against Elevate. This one hurts because one of them is gonna go home.
Yeah, that's the hardest part. And actually, one of them is in particular, Chalk VR team Alpha 7. I'm a little worried right now because going in, I mean, earlier today, I was wondering like what kind of clothes, what color clothes to wear, and I decided to wear black because I felt like we might be going to a funeral.
Funeral of who first? That's the question here, because just like what our both casters has mentioned here, this will be an elimination match coming in for their respective group. Winner will take on the BTR by Vitality in the lower bracket finals to determine the second slot coming in from their group towards the knockout stage. But before that, they will need to see who amongst them will survive and who amongst them will have to leave the stage for KIC.
Yeah, this one is going to be interesting because we have seen the growth of both teams. I think Elevate has really grown quite a bit, and it truly is today the end of the road, but it's only for one of the teams, thankfully, right?
Yeah.
So I have my cards on Alpha 7 for this one. I think Alpha 7, the remaining hope for the side of the top BR region, they have to do it here. If not, it's the end of the road for all the top BR teams.
Yeah, it could be potentially scary for them. But on the other end, if we're looking at this one, it's Elevate. All the players are kind of rolling in right now. And this is also a moment where you're kind of thinking, hey, they have the home buff. They have the crowd. Like, you couldn't see them behind us, and they are ecstatic and ready to take on this series against Alpha 7.
There's a lot of Elevate fans cheering for them right now. So with the home crowd advantage here, definitely if you're Alpha 7 that's walking in, you'll be a bit, how would I say, culture shock, and also in terms of the support that you're getting, lesser compared to the home crowd favorites.
They have the IRL intimidate.
Correct.
So your damage will be lowered, but let's take a look at the stats here, hit to hit. Elevate against Alpha 7. The stats point towards a win or a better chance for the side of Alpha 7 Esports here.
Now, that I agree in terms of numbers, but take into consideration that Elevate was against HBSC during the statistics were generated, and also Alpha 7. This statistic was after 5 full games against Bigger Trauma Vitality.
Yeah, definitely a big of a shift. I mean, the average deaths per match is like 16, right? It's not looking good. I mean, if we're looking at the data, I don't think that we should look too much at this because of the fact that, I mean, like you rightly pointed out, HBSC and Nongshim, very different monsters in their own right. So going into this one, I think that we need to kind of think about how these players will be able to pick it up. It seems like both of them have not really found much of a footing.
I mean, it depends on who they're going to show us on the screen next for the player hit-to-hit, right? I think that is definitely one of the big questions we need to answer here. But it's not just for us to answer, it's for the teams to answer as well. And I think, you know, the fans already think that Elevate are going to win. You know they're in it for the win. So let's take a look at the roles here. It's going to be in the jungle. Haru against Danny.
Yeah, this is a nice one. I mean, I think that this is definitely something that you want to be looking into because Danny tends to play, you know, I mean, he does a lot of damage in terms of how it was done in terms of the last series against Nongshim. He really kind of has that impact in the game.
That's correct, whereby Danny and also Haru will be the leading spears coming into this series here. As we see towards the tournament of KIC so far, it has been the name of the jungle coming in, whereby junglers dictate the tempo, and teammates playing towards the jungle will get you more resources across the gorge.
Oh, for sure. And I think it's very important because the jungler dictates the pace. You know, the rotation of taking the buffs, the objectives, and then normally they will be the ones that try and finish the team fight. So I'm excited for both Haru and Danny because the hero pools are quite significant. They do have a deep hero pool available to pick. So I'm curious what kind of direction they'll go to.
And talking about Elevate as well, it is also the reform or the reconnection of the Azar and Impressive, whereby they were once teammates in the first edition of Boom Esports back in 2024. So that team itself makes a lot of sense coming into the series itself. Maybe the Azar and also the Impressive connection will bring them back in towards the series in a much more elevated sort of level here. But talking about the team itself, let's introduce our first team of the day with this video.
Elevate was actually the 5th place team in the PKL Fall 2020-2025 when they beat We Trend Esports in the plans, lost to Boom Esports in the upper bracket semifinals 1-3, and then they bounced back, beat ACT Esports 3-1 to again lose to Boom Esports 0-3 in the lower bracket finals. But this team is a one where, hey, when elimination is on the line, that's when they step up.
And this team has known to be the PKL Avengers, whereby you have a lot of these different pro players coming into a roster to compete at the highest level here. But talking about highest level, let's introduce Alpha 7 Gaming towards the lineup.
Let us welcome Alpha 7. This time, let's see if they can bring the top PR forward here via Brazil, because the 5 players coming in for the side of Alpha 7 need to do it right here, right now, or it's going to be plane tickets home, baby.
Plane tickets home, the region's hope eliminated here. Everything is on their shoulders here to really push forward this series here, because you lose here, you go home, and also you lose every single Chalk VR representation in today.
Yeah, but let's look at Elevate first. They're going to be made up of Hyde, Impressive, Azar, Haru, and Iblis here. This is a team, again, sometimes back on the wall. That's the moment that they're really able to rise.
Yep. This backing that they have, I mean, Azar, he is one of the star players here, and we'll see if he's able to carry Elevate up to another completely different level.
If there's anything that I can tell you, the Elevate fans have really brought up the game, right?
They're definitely
you can feel them, you can hear them, like you can feel it. They are ready to go.
They're ready for the home crowd favorite to take on Alpha 7, the last chance coming in from Chalk VR.
All right, so let's talk about Alpha 7. And Alpha 7 represented by Fury in the mid, Bilal 1 in that roam/support, Sesa, the farm lane, Danny, of course, in the jungle, and Nyap in that clash lane. Nyap is my player of choice for the side of Alpha 7. This guy has been consistently able to catch out his opponents.
Yeah, one thing I want to take note of is the Sesa has been the latest setup. I mean, the latest pickup. He's replacing Juan as they came in from Chalk VR 2nd place. And now that he's here, he was coming from Lobos Fomentos. This is a guy that gets a lot of MVPs, but what you saw in the Nongshim Red Force lineup was that actually he was not able to shine. He was constantly being focused and pressured.
Yeah, that's correct here. And especially, check out the fans that we have at the shooting gallery studios here. They are roaring with thunderous cheers, cheering on Elevate, and also the competitors coming into it today, which is the side of Alpha 7 Gaming here. A lot is on the line here, because if you are a PKL fan, a Filipino fan of Philippine HOK, you definitely want them to advance further towards a potential knockout.
I mean, we saw that already with ACT being bounced out, right? Yes, you have Blacklist that already made it to the knockouts, but you want more of your teams to make it there. There's still 2 more teams left, but Elevate their tournament lives at stake.
Yep. I mean, we already have one PKL team taking a fall here in the form of ACT. Elevate now at risk of being the 2nd PKL. Now remember, there are only 4 PKL teams. Elevate needs to boost the chances of winning this entire thing of KIC 2025.
They don't want to repeat what ACT Esports Club have had suffered throughout yesterday here. So coming over towards today, you can see the players geared up, and Impressive is back towards the roster here. The Azar Impressive connection will probably bring a lot of comfort towards the fans of Philippines.
I really like this storyline we have, because Alpha 7 is one of the strongest Chalk VR teams we have out there. They are also the team that placed off in the playoffs for KWC. So this is a tall mountain to climb, but if there's any team you want to climb a mountain, it has to be Elevate.
Yeah, it has to be Elevate here. But I mean, to Alpha 7's credits, they rise to the occasion as well. Danny and Niap, also veterans, right? They've had a lot of experience playing together. Now that they've been on Alpha 7 and created this Avengers-style Brazilian squad, they are ready to go.
Yeah, this is more like a civil war, right? Avengers versus Avengers, each representing their own region. We need to see what kind of standards, what kind of qualities these two teams bring.
The first quality that has to be inspected coming in from both of these two teams will be the pick and bans in question here. But with the support coming in from the fans, whatever they pick, whatever they choose, they will have the support. They will have the cheers roaring for their side, especially if you're on Elevate side.
Yep, do remember we are in the home of Manila, Philippines, the home of PKL, and the support is immense.
Definitely immense here. Alpha 7, they're stoic. This is not something that, you know, they haven't seen before. The Brazilian fans also are very ecstatic and can get in your heads as well. So this is one of those moments that they know that they're in hostile territory, but they're going to play their game.
It will be so interesting if Danny silences the crowd and be the loudest voice in the arena. That would be huge.
And usually Chalk VR teams, when they win with style. And they have a distinct taunting style. Especially, you see the relation of Danny and the other junglers. The cute interaction that he has with Zankyu really shows the personality coming in for this player. But let's head on towards the first game of the pick and bans with Elevate on towards the blue side and Alpha 7 Gaming towards the red side.
And that's kind of why the Alpha 7 and the Chalk VR teams are all a lot of fun to watch, right? Because they bring something that a lot of the other teams don't really have, and that's that boisterous, you know, exuberance, right? And when they win, everyone knows that they win. They are not afraid to shout.
Yeah, and right now, Elevate has taken out the Mayin, one of the premier picks for Niap here. But one more problem, Niap does have the Dharma. That was the opening sequence for Alpha 7 to take big wins here. And Alpha 7, they know their competition. Respect given to the side of Azar. They take out the Arlie.
Definitely have to take away the Arlie here and potentially go with the Aoyin ban as well coming in from Alpha 7, because if you do give that away towards Elevate and they start off a first game with a good series, definitely putting yourself in the wrong foot if you are on the side of Alpha 7.
Yeah, and I think for both of these squads, I think particularly Elevate, they need to win game one, right? Being 0-3'd and then not even winning the first game, and then things start to look really bad, right? Then you start to panic, you don't play your game.
Yep, and now Elevate has identified the first point of strength for the side of Alpha 7. That's coming from Niap. They will ban out the Dharma. Alpha 7 respond with the Luna ban, giving respect to Haru as well. So what kind of priority will we be giving in this blue side first pick for Elevate?
There is the potential of the Dolia or potentially coming in the Yang Jian is available, but this opens up a few things. Does Alpha 7 go for the Long and also Yuhan pickup here?
It's an option. It's definitely something that we want to do. And again, the Yang Jian, if anyone's been paying attention to the Honor of Kings esports, that is a tough combination to deal with. So it looks like Alpha 7, I mean, the Yuhan, they're penciling it in as of now, but once they lock that in, Dolia is a nice complement to that.
I feel like they should take away the Dolia here to really steal away the potential combination of the Yang Jian and Dolia, and also it opens up the door to the Neza pick that we keep talking about in the past few days.
Yeah, this one is interesting. I want to see Alpha 7 play the Neza. We know Danny to be a good tank player, but he's also very ferocious in the jungle. Elevate, they're going to respond in kind, the aggression in the form of the Lung, the Aoyin, coming in for the farm lane for Azar.
It will be interesting if Elevate locked in a pay here, because it really locks away the potential of the Neza pick, because out of the series that we saw just now, if you shut down the Neza early, it really stunts its growth to become this invincible tank line that keeps running towards your backline for those assassination angles.
Yeah, it has a lot of options in that sense. But like the Zhangfei being picked up, it looks, again, Elevate. This is a classic Elevate lineup and something that they're willing to go in. They want to do the team fight. They have a great hero for Azar, as well as potentially Haru. I think that Yang Jian will be in the jungle though.
Oh, but this pick on Ivalicia, the Zhangfei, it has performed so well over the past and first 4 days of competition so far. And Elevate, I think this is a very strong draft. Alpha 7, not yet complete, but you can see the signs of potential here with the Direndia pick as well.
It's very comfortable from both sides, I would say. Like Elevate, they want
want to skirmish and brawl you, and for the side of Alpha 7, early game coming from DRNG will
neutralize the laning coming from Azar and Impressive, and then the mid game will be handed over to Fury and also Valawan on that Yuhan Dolia composition here.
Yeah, and also they're not falling for the bait for the Yangjian being like the jungle, right? Because they go with Clash. This is something that they can continue on. They're looking more for like long term. Plus the Yuan on the Alpha 7 side can kind of be flexed into certain other positions, so you're not kind of locking yourself in at this moment.
Yep, left with the mid and the jungle option here for the side of the Yuan. Of course, now we'll take a look at the next ban here. Elevate, they know that the Alpha 7 lineup needs a tank. Dune is going to be the first one. Menki is the other consideration that maybe Alpha 7 can go for. Let's see if Elevate block that card out.
Interesting enough that Alpha 7 bans their own Agudo here. I do believe that Agudo with Dolia is also one of those good combinations that you could really bring up to pair up with that DRNJ in this game 1.
You could do that damage. That would definitely add into that. But it kind of goes into the side that Alpha 7 not 100% like convinced that, you know, the Yangjian is in the jungle, but the Neza on the other side and being a ban there, it looks like they're really going hard onto Danny.
So this means you go Organ, right? On the side of Alpha 7, that's also something that Danny loves to play. It's a good tank. And, you know, you could potentially get the heals coming in, but you're going to lock in that Byron for the side of Nia Burst, trying to get the stuns in with the Flash Storm Strike combination.
It's a smart approach coming in from Alpha 7 here. Picking up a Byron that statistically does well into most of these lanes. So it allows Danny to observe the Yangjian. Where is this Yangjian going? To the jungle, towards the Clash, and then you decide what kind of jungler you want to be picking in this P5.
I'm assuming Alpha 7 is not going to be going with the Zhuangzi last pick jungle. I think that they've learned their lessons from Bigatron in the last series.
Definitely. So, I mean, there was some value. I'll be honest. I think that I can see the vision there, but Elevate has a completely different vision. It is all about destruction here. The class name will be that Dwarf Saint here. It's going to be the Guan Yu, and we also have the Ziya. So we're going to break some level caps here.
Yep, the Monkey being locked in for Alpha 7 makes a lot of sense here, so you can really benefit from the Dolia refresh here. No, not a single target, only refresh on the side of Fury's Yuhuan, but you can pump it up for a double Dream Room for the side of this Monkey here. And Elevate, the draft that they have proposed is very PKL standard, whereby they are looking to fight their way through to get that advantage that we talk about.
Yeah, it's funny that you use the word standard, because this is pretty stock standard for this lineup. I mean, aside from the fact that the Jia is there, I'm not 100% sold on that, but they're looking long term, right? It does decent in terms of wave clear. It can potentially just be that nuisance that you want in terms of just being from afar. It has options at this stage.
I feel like Alpha 7, you don't want to go too late in this game. Mid game is where you need to close the gap here. If you don't do it, this is a soft guarantee that Elevate takes the first win here.
And with Elevate's draft as well that we come into this game, the Zhangwei can bring Smite. And with the Smite item, you can allow the Ziya to go for the Knowledge Gem Roamer item start. So all the resources can be funneled into Haru's pocket, the head-to-head matchup that we featured back just now in the pre-game show.
Yeah, I think it's really going to come back to Haru on this. There's a lot at stake. Azar needs to step up as well on that loom. Those are the main two guys that you're looking at, because everybody else is like literally setting you up, leveling you up, doing what they can to kind of help support you, but it comes back to these two players to ensure that they carry the game.
That is correct here, and a lot has been discussed for the side of Elevate's lineup here, putting our focus back into the Alpha 7 Chokdia draft. I gotta say, if they can really play around that Yuhuan Dolia combination and ride with the early game provided by the DRNG, things could go pretty much in their favor for the early to mid-game rotations.
They have that option, right? Which I think is going to be great for them. That's something that they need to kind of consider with what they're doing.
We will take a look at how this is going to go at this point. Look, Elevate, it looks like all the cards are on their side. The ball is in their court. It is up for them to drop it.
That is correct here, Ken. With both drafts locked in, the game plan has been stamped for both teams, as this is eliminations on the line. This BO5 will defer who advances and who falls out of KIC 2025. This is game 1 between Elevate going up against Alpha 7 Gaming. Casters, you are on live.
Thank you so much, Saki, as we go into the final match of the day. Of course, this is going to be game 1, elimination game. This one is going to be really, really critical, because you know that there's no room for error here.
It is. And they know what the strength is on the side of Elevate. So, Alpha 7, they're trying to shut down his early lead from the side of Evilist in the mid. They need to make sure they stop this EXP growth, or else Elevate will rise a little too fast.
Yeah. A little too fast. And I mean, it really comes like all eyes to me are on Haru and Azar. Like, how did they get going? Is Haru able to farm efficiently? The same way Danny, is he just tanky enough to kind of deal with this onslaught from Elevate?
Yeah, look, we really want to surprise us. We know you wanted to on the 21st of November. We have one big one for our local fans here and for everyone in HOK Global. Lapu Lapu will be hitting the gorge.
Yeah, it's going to be available for the knockout, so that's something to look forward to. I mean, the teams are well aware. They're giving some time so that they actually have time to practice with it before they unleash it, so to speak, on the gorge.
Yep, look, Evilist already has the boost of deafness. What a nice steal from the hide as well. So Evilist, level 4 already. He's going to try and set up so many nice situations for the side of Elevate and put them on the pedestal here. Haru, of course, needs to be on top of that.
Yeah, definitely needs to be on top of that. I mean, him just helping with the farm, the wave clear is quite good with that, and Haru ensuring he's going to unleash the hounds. Danny taking a lot of damage, and he's going to be backing off at this point.
Yeah, I like this restraint. Elevate, knowing that, okay, maybe we want to get the lead, but we have to know what risk we're taking this 1v1.
Oh, they're going for this one. YSAs are taking a lot of damage. Azar is going to be there, but with Bilal waiting in the wings, he got spotted out. And now with that wave breaker, the heals are going to be there. Not the greatest position. Azar is a little bit low, though.
Why is he staying? YSAs, if the flash by Azar comes in, he can get that full combination, use the Infinite Bastard to get out. And YSAs might be giving that first blood.
Yeah, I think maybe looking to bait it out. I mean, it was very risky. I don't think he was going to risk it at that point. But Danny, on the other hand, he's just efficiently farmed.
Normally we like to say no pain, no gain, but this is the kind of pain you don't want on the side of Alpha 7. Hyde so far struggling to keep up with Niap, which is good news for Alpha 7 fans, but at the same time, Elevate. I'm looking at Azar, man. This guy, he has been a prodigy for the side of Elevate, and he will be. Oh, hang on, one more stun. That's a nice one. Good way to start, but it's a 2v1.
Yeah, 2v1, he's by himself, right? Look at how Elevate right now, it's all about Haru. They understand that they're going to create as much space as possible. He is the guy, the umbrella. Oh, well, perfect one, setting it up, and Fury is dunked on.
What did we say? Impressive, the Zhang Fei. So many times the beast has unleashed, and this time it is going to be successful.
Oh, he's still doing some work as well, and getting a lot of value out of that. Now he's going to have to be running off on that one as it kind of goes back into human form. But a great play by Elevate, really setting the tone of this one. Finding Niap in a bad spot. He's got the force field suppression, but Hyde bouncing him around like a pinball, and finally Niap gets the safety.
All right, Hyde, that was a scary potential. It gives you a preview of what's potentially going to happen, right? We need that Hyde rotation. PKL fans, Elevate, they're cheering so hard right now because they see the potential that Elevate has.
Yeah, of that damage, right? And I mean, Hyde on that Guan Yu, not the greatest of laners, especially against the Byron, but the way he's played it thus far, he's been smart. Putting it on the tower, putting you out of position, and getting his farm.
Yep, you only have one chance to stop it, right? If you're on the Alpha 7 snap, which is the Storm Stripe. And for now, Hyde is trying to keep up. The first rotation will come 4 minutes. This is the big battle.
Oh, the Umbrella Outburst on to 2. He wants to go for that Stampede. No, the Unending Sorrow, the Dream Realm does a counter, and they find him. Haru is stuck himself way too far up. Azar is now here. He's doing a little bit too much, but the Infinite Bastards, that was so close.
Yep, they force it out, and now Elevate cannot go for the contest. Now Alpha 7, they see this as an opening, but here comes the universal law. They're gonna try and put some pressure here. The stun comes in though.
Yeah, it looks like they're just gonna slow siege this mid team one instead. Impressive. Not really much you can do. All they can do is watch, and at 4 minutes, Alpha 7 take the mid T1.
That is really early. This is one of the earliest T1s in the mid taken by any team today. And this means Alpha 7, they have full prior over this first Tyrant of the game. This should be in their hands, and it's going to be comfortably taken.
Yeah, comfortably taken. I mean, there's no real way that Elevate could have done anything at this point. This lead is starting to grow in favor of Alpha 7. I mean, they're catching up to Elevate at this point, but once they take the bottom T1, they're going to be in a prime position.
And not only that, they will have prime vision as well, right? The Fog of War is going to hurt Elevate for this one.
Yeah, and the Crimson Golem almost being potentially stolen. No, it's going to be tethered away, and Haru will pick that up, ensuring that... No, Azar, sorry, picked that one up. So, again, I guess, taking it away, but here comes the Umbrella Outburst. They actually find him on the wrong side, and Bilal gets stampeded on, and he's going to be killed. Haru secures that one.
Look, Impressive is so mechanical. He's like a robot. Every single Umbrella Outburst always gets the target.
Yeah, I mean, Impressive, just making the nice little play. The Umbrella Outburst really on point. He's been there, but Wise Acer actually flashing away. Elevate putting the aggression on, and they're going to take the bottom T1.
Let's talk a little bit about Impressive here. He has some resolve. And you know what? He would hang 5-man strong in the mid, but the T2 at the top needs to be taken care of.
Oh, it looks like Haru a little bit on the lower end, and now Niap joining the fight, does a little bit of work on the hide, but tenderizes him, but again, just to disengage.
This is a scary situation, right? Even though you take down the mega tank, which is Danny on the side of Alpha 7, the rest of the lineup on the side of A7, they still have the potential to win the team fights.
Yeah, and then that's the big of a bit of an issue, right? That's the crux of the story, so to speak. But Danny here, I mean, again, he just died a single time. It's not the end of the world, but once he gets tanky, it's going to be a bit of a problem for Elevate.
Yes, and one more problem to add. Fury is going for the magic build. He already has the staves of sorcery. So you know Alpha 7 are going to be very aggressive, because if you take out Ivalice, there is no damage reduction, there's no armor reduction anymore.
and that could be a prime target. The Crimson on the other side, it's a wash.
Yeah, it's totally unseen. Right now, you might as well say that they're even Stevens, right? So Alpha 7, the only advantage they have right now is just the map control. They've taken 3 turrets across the gorge. Elevate have only taken 1.
Yeah, sure, but my name isn't Steven. But anyways, Alpha 7 on the other hand, they're going to take the Crimson here, which is why Cacers, this is going to be a good one for him, because again, it's accelerating the farm. You have Fury with the red buff as well, so Alpha 7 doing a good job of putting themselves in a position where they... Guys that need to get the farm have that damage.
And also, the Crimson buffs, I think this will be the major change.
Alpha's go for the pushback. Impressive can pull the trigger at a moment's notice, but here we go. Charge is nice, but Hyde is going to be picked off. The Universal Law is going to be a little off the mark. Alpha 7, none of them down. Niap is still continuing to fight. Azar gets on his dragon. He's going to be out.
Look, they're so low, but they can't finish this job. Elevate. You have done a lot of damage, but you need to finish your food. And right now, Alpha 7, they've taken full advantage of that. They're taking the T2 at the top, which means map control galore. Alpha 7, they feast onto this Crimson Golem here.
Yeah, this is a big moment, a big turning point for Alpha 7. Things were looking very close, but now they find Danny, who's at about half-life. If they want to go for this one, he actually has the shields, and now here come the reinforcements. The unending sorrow from Fury. He's going to be pushed back.
Yeah, good decision making to make sure the heals come through as well. Another T2 under pressure from the side of Alpha 7. I don't think they can defend this. They will take this for free. And at the 9-minute mark, it looks like the next thing on the menu here is going to be that Tyrant for the side of Alpha 7.
It's going to be a big opening. I think that the 10-minute Tyrant, they'll take this one and then load it up for that Shadow Tyrant, which is going to come in about 50 seconds. But in the top lane, look at Niap and Hyde constantly just harassing one another.
Look, Niap has put a target on the back of Hyde. He has consistently found Hyde, make sure he tries to slow down that catch. And Hyde has been making those catches, but they can't finish the job.
Yeah, and that's the bit of an issue, right? Haru needs a little bit more time, as well as Azar, to get the farm, because Azar, literally 1.2k behind Ysacer, he really doesn't have the damage to burn him down.
Yeah, because it's forcing them to fight nice catch.
Finding Haru, he's at half-life, he's on the run, and he's trying to unleash the hounds, and just to get the safety, but Haru's so low, and he does get picked off, and Fury will look at that. Now here comes the Razor Cavalry pushing under the tower. Danny's in such a terrible spot. The heroic charges left and right and hide with that control, and it looks like Danny will be shut down.
You have to sit your butt down because Elevate will always come back. What a nice catch here. They buy themselves a lifeline, but Alpha 7, they're not going to just take a loss and leave. They're going to take your Azure Golem as well.
And this is why it's frustrating to play against the Guan Yu. It's like you think everything's great, you'll get that pick off, and then you're sent to the enemy fountain almost, and you're just in a bad spot. But the Unbridled Outburst with another heroic charge. He's going to try to flash away, but Bilal, it looks like he's going to go down yet again. And now Niap is looking to fight, trying to go for Zar, and Wysacer gets that pick off. The Brawly form from Impressive is just barely enough, but now they're bouncing around on top of Niap with that force of the Frost, but they finally get Impressive, but Niap will trade his life away.
I mean, Seiza, he's doing so well. The life steal coming in, the damage as well. And right now, Alpha 7, there's another thing to take a look at. The shadow variants of the objectives have arrived, and now it's all about the map control.
Yeah, and Haru right now, no smite. It's about halfway in terms of the cooldown, so he's going to take the Shadow Tyrant instead. Alpha 7, even with only 3 members, they take the Overlord very quickly.
Yes, very quickly indeed. And right now, they make a beeline. Very nice checking for Fury. They stop the attempt from the side of Haru. Look, Haru, I don't think has gotten into the groove of things just yet.
Yeah, but he does have a about 700 gold lead, so that's a bit of a better groove than Danny, who's a little bit behind in terms of the net worth. So this is something that he needs to continue to do, because again, this Yang Jian, once he gets online, he's going to be a bit of an issue.
Yes, definitely. So Alpha 7, they are on a timer right now. It's all about the farm for Elevate. So Elevate, the later this game goes, the better it is for them. The Alpha 7, they need to do it quickly.
Yeah, and Haru, if anything though, the biggest problem is that he's been focused. He's died 3 times already, the most on the team, so he needs to ensure that he stays alive, gets the farm. On the other side, Azar hasn't really died too many times. He's been just silently farming.
Silently farming. If Fury gets his next core item, as they're looking to put more pressure on the Gorger. Alpha 7 trying to take another turret. The T3s now are available if they want to push it.
Yeah, look at how Alpha 7 just going in might have actually go on to hide, but the top lane has actually been pushing with Azar there, and Alpha 7 slowly, waiting, methodically looking for some sort of initiation point.
They're biding their time, right? It's all about the timing at this point. And Alpha 7, they have options. They can choose to use that distraction of the Shadow Overlord to go for the Tyrant instead, and that's exactly what they do.
Smart, smart. Opening it up, Alpha 7. This is a Shadow Tyrant for them, and it looks like there's really no chance. Niap is also waiting in the wings. He's like that forward scout, providing a lot. But now with the Vanguard in the top lane, plus you have the Shadow Tyrant buff, things are looking very good for Alpha 7.
Yep, stun setups coming in from the side of Fury as well. Any target he catches could be a victim.
Yeah, at any time. I mean, Danny's still all the way up in front and tanking it even for that Shadow Vanguard. And in the mid lane, a little bit of a skirmish with Hyde and Niap. They've been going at it this entire game. But the top T3 eventually taking a little bit of chip damage.
Yep, quite a bit here. That is a respectable amount. Alpha 7, they've gotten some damage down. But look at Wysacer. He's getting those passive shots in.
Yeah, and every third shot or whatever for Wysacer, that's kind of what you want to do. But now with that Universal Law onto Danny, who tanks and eats it all up, he'll enjoy that one.
Yep, Fury as well and Niap. Look, the two of them have been very, very clinical in stopping the attempt from Hyde. Hyde has no options here.
Yeah, no options at all. I mean, it's tough. This is a situation where, again, like, you got to come all the way from the wings, and Alpha 7 are expecting them, right? They've done a good job of not just, like, grouping up randomly and not covering their, their corner, so to speak.
Yep, it's a defensive positioning. I like this a lot from Alpha 7, right? This is the kind of growth that we wanted to see of all the global teams, and we're definitely seeing it right now. Impressive, though. He needs to be that lifeline. Every Unbridled Outburst has netted them a kill. That's why they have 7. Impressive has landed at least half of those.
Yeah, he's had quite a bit. I mean, in terms of his team fight, he's always been on point. Tied, though, with Bilal in terms of that net worth, but the vision score, I would say, that Impressive has brought in has been quite good and very helpful for the team in finding those right initiations.
Not only that, he also has the Frigid Charge. He's looking for the Ominous Premonition as his next item here. We have to get the stuns in on the sides of Elevate, not just the ultimate from Impressive. He needs to land that freeze.
Yeah, look at the bottom team too. Something to take note of. It is pushing a bit, but Alpha 7 on the other hand, they're gonna just kind of move around, maybe take the mid lane and just kind of baiting it out. They don't really want to go for this overlord.
Ivalice?
Oh, Ivalice, the Dream Roll right on top of him. But Danny, with that bubble, doing a little bit of work, and Ivalice is going to go down. The Umbrella Uppers is now going to be used, but cutting it off in half, but they're not able to go. And now it looks like Azar is going to be aggressive. He wants to go, finding why Zacer. He's going to be down for the count, and Hyde running away. He's going to be fine, but Haru is going to be focused in. They're slowly going in for this one. It looks like there's no other catch. It's going to be a 2-for-1 favor of Elevate.
Yep, Elevate, they have managed to survive. This is great for them. It's lucky that Hyde did not take a fall there. If he did, then there is an immense chance that Alpha 7 might have broken the T3s. Right now, there is a little lack of damage, which means Haru, there is a potential of a steal. Elevate, what are they gonna do now?
I mean, they have the numbers advantage. Alpha 7 were thinking about going for the Overlord. That would have been very risky, especially doing this 3 versus 4. Now Elevate are like, actually, we have the advantage. We should be going for the Overlord.
Yep, they're gonna put 4 people here, and they get it.
Oh, Danny been pushed back with that heroic charge, but he gets the steal! Danny with a Dream Roll smite. That was perfect. And now Alpha 7 on the run. They've unleashed the hounds, and Ivalice is so low. Neop is on the back line doing some serious work, but he's gonna pay for his sins. He does go down as well. Hyde is so low. Azar is doing the damage, and they find Bilal, but Danny is continuing on. He gets picked off as well, and it looks like with only 2 members, the Stampede is on point. Wiseace are going all in, and Azar on the Dragon gets the safety with an ace.
Yeah, Danny gets a steal, but Elevate becomes a criminal. They clear them with an ace, and Elevate, this is time to win the game, maybe. 20 seconds, no, in fact, 30 seconds before Wiseace comes out. That's enough time. They can do it. Elevate, the fans are pushing them on. They need to push into the base.
Yeah, but 7 more seconds for Neop to come on back in. They're gonna look to take this one. Everybody is so low. This is a risky play. The Vanguards are there. Neop is already up. He wants to go. They might want to go for the base race. The Razor Cavalry onto this. Being pushed around, and they go for the Crystal, and Elevate will take game 1.
What a comeback. Elevate. This is the kind of quality we want to be able to rise through every single difficulty. Alpha 7, it looked like they had the game in the bag there.
Yeah, it looked like they had the bag, but it's one team fight. It's also the heads up of the game awareness to be like, actually, we can end this game.
Yes, exactly. I would have said, hey, let's reset, not push, no, just play it safe. But Elevate, this is the kind of risk that you want to take because the rewards are well worth it. They are 1 game ahead now.
And that was such a back and forth game, always in control of Alpha 7 here. But the late game team fights, that fell all the way for the side of Elevate for their own taking, which at the final few moments, we all thought that Neop coming in with the Byron could have stalled the game back to an equal footing. But Hyde with the Guan Yu pushing every single time for the side of the Neop back into his base, and that game was in their pockets. That was a very good comeback play coming in for the side of Elevate.
Okay, so pay attention. There was one moment on your screen just now, which is the coach of Elevate. The first thing he did when the players arrived in the room was to tell them to calm down, reset, right? I think this is very critical for them. You will win off of a high, and some players, based off that emotion, they will go a little bit too far in game number 2. So it's nice to reset, keep it calm, keep it composed. I think that's their winning formula here.
Yeah, I think composure is a #1 thing as well coming in from Alpha 7 Gaming, whereby at the Overlord, whereby we saw how Danny stole it away already, but they still chose to go in. Even Bilal on a Dolia, you flashed in to engage, which led to the demise of the other team members. Imagine if Bilal on the Dolia was pumping in heals, pumping in crowd controls. Things could have been very different for the side of Alpha 7 Gaming in that sense. So, name of the thing, both teams need to stay composed in this entire BO5.
I mean, they had that lead, right? Alpha 7, that was their game to lose. They dropped the ball, unfortunately, right? Just, you cannot make those sorts of mistakes, and we will see the highlight as of what that tipping point was later.
Okay, so I think we have to pay attention to Azar. Azar was one of the main reasons why they got that big burst in. You know, it was kind of weird. Danny suddenly got deleted, and it had to be Azar here on that Lung. Flaming Palm, everything, downpour, ride the wind, the 3 skills that Lung now in office. Look at the amount of gold that he acquired for himself. 12,000 plus.
And that was the game plan coming in for the side of Elevate, whereby you have Ivalice on this Zilia, you throw in that slow, and it corrupts your magic and physical defense. That allows Azar to punch through Danny's defensive line, and then the level cap unlocked for Azar. All these play a big factor in why he was the late game factor that allowed Elevate to get that comeback of victory.
Yeah, but let's also talk about impressive, right?
Very
Because
impressive.
without his umbrella outburst, they would have lost this game by far. He was keeping them in the game. The team fights were kind of on point, just delaying, just getting a couple pickoffs to slow down the onslaught of Alpha 7.
Yeah, and to have to come over from Boom and come to Elevate, I think he has been showing the quality that is needed of this Zhangfei roam. This is one of his specialty bros.
Wow.
You never have to worry when impressive is on the beast.
Would you say his play has been impressive?
Or elevated.
Wow, or I don't know. I think it's a mix
I was like,
of
yeah. One
This
bad
is
joke
the
after
most
another.
dead joke moment ever, but hey, I'll take it. Alpha 7, this one did hurt quite a bit. So we'll take a look at, the comparisons of this one-to-one head-to-head later on.
Yeah, talking about the head-to-head especially, we do have to give props to Niap. He was the front man for Sada Alpha 7 Gaming and finding those few success stories here. I remember there was one fight that Niap went in with White Sacer and took a 2v4 and still managed to come out on top. Same thing goes for Hyde. Even though they were on the defensive side, they were losing, he was still actively finding those big moments to allow Elevate to claw back into the game. And that final moment when we thought Niap was going to defend the base, it was Hyde saying like, hey, go for the end. I got this. Niap will not come out.
Yeah, very smart play by Hyde. I mean, his impact was definitely there, but he stayed alive. That was the biggest thing. Even when things were looking rough, Alpha 7 was like attacking, sieging, doing what they could. Hyde was just constantly on the prowl, staying alive, looking for that perfect one where they had to be super worried about the wings.
Yeah, and of course, this is all building up to the superstar of the team, Azar, coming in with the Loom, the Aowen 4, 1, and 6. While he did not take a lot of damage, he was dishing it out.
He was really dishing it out. He was really just waiting for his power spikes, telling the guys like, hey, I got this. Just give me the items, give me the time. Once I get 6 items, we will play our comp to a perfection there. And that's when Alpha 7 Gaming gave them the chance for that comeback.
Yeah, they were really running out of time. Let me remind you, Elevate were on a timer. They needed to drag the game up until this guy Azar was online. And boy, did they drag it out. Hyde, all those pushes of Danny into the base, even getting Niap as well, the 2 main tanks, that was a critical moment in that game.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, there's more props to Hyde on that one because, again, getting those pickoffs, Alpha 7 is unable to siege. They have to back off, and they have no choice. And then that is buying so much time for the rest of the team, especially Azar, to get that farm.
And this was the highlights that we talk about here, whereby in the early game, it was really in favor for the side of Alpha 7. Haru was getting punished, and Fury was just playing so well behind, pushing Danny, pushing Fury towards the base of Elevate, and making this game back to an equal footing here. And this is the one whereby Evelyn got caught out at the start of the match, and Fury flashes in, but you don't get the Dolia refresh immediately, so you get punished here, and you traded off your own life for the side of Evelyn to flee out here.
Yeah, one thing I don't like about these initiations, Alpha 7 will go all in trying to get some of those kills. The problem is they don't buy a return ticket. They're not able to survive most of the time they initiate.
That is correct. That's what you see here. It was looking good for Alpha 7 here. Check out what Bilal did, flashing in as a Dolia roam here in the middle of 4 members. White Sacer is coming back from base here. There's nothing. There's no one touching Azar. And White Sacer, he has to fight through Haru, fight through Azar, and he is left in no man's land. Imagine the heals were pumped in by Bilal, pumped in by Fury. That could have been a different story, different ending for Alpha 7 in this game 1.
I want to defend Bilal because I've done that too, where you're like, oh, Hyde is so low. I have that one potential shot to go in. I flash and I go for my basic, and then I do very little damage because I'm like literally throwing stones at that point. So I've been there, I've seen it, bad mistake, and unfortunately, we're one and the same in that sense.
Now, that's why composure is so important in a tournament setting here, especially, when we talk about this, this is elimination on the line. Alpha 7 is carrying the Chalk BR name on their shoulder. They are the final, last Chalk BR team available in KSSG 2025 here.
They're carrying more than that. They're carrying my heart as well because, look, I want a great game today. I wanted to go to game number 5. It's one of the Kindle Fu specials, right? We since I'm on the desk, we want to get it all the way to make it a satisfying end because it truly will be the end of the road for one of these teams today.
Alpha 7 is carrying your heart. Alpha 7 is carrying my liver, right? I think I'm very worried to to see exactly if what we just saw continue on for that. But of course, if you happen to be tuning in and you want to give a little bit of a follow out to the Honor of Kings esports across all of the social media channels, and you get your rewards, you get all these digital things just for following.
That's correct. And even though if you're like, if you already followed us and you got all the rewards digitally, do drop by to Manila. If you are in Philippines itself, do drop by whereby we have activities, we have the HOK Carnival, everything. Yeah, you know, just come out, have the fun, and you know, cheer on Elevate, cheer on Alpha 7. Whichever's your team, do give them the best shot.
Yeah, so let's go right back into the game. This was game number 1. Big picks here from both sides actually, right? The Yang Qian combination coming out to Zhang Fei and the Long. These are all big picks. Guan Yu as well. So very expensive pick from the side of Elevate, but it was well worth it because they won that game. Now the question is, Alpha 7, what's next here? Danny, Menki, I don't think it's the most expensive pick. He has more in the tank here.
More in the tank, such as the Augur, the Pei, the Luna. All these are the known Danny picks here coming into the tournament, whereby I'm a bit worried if you're an Elevate fan because Haru is not having the best of the game on the Yang Qian just now.
He didn't have much of an impact, right? But he was constantly prioritized.
Correct.
Right? Alpha 7 did a good job of understanding who they needed to go, but then, of course, you know, then you have Azar as well, so you got to kind of stop all of them. Not easy to do. Alpha 7, you know, didn't really pay off in that one.
I mean, it's truly not how you start the game, right? It's how you finish. And right now, Elevate did a very nice job in finishing game number 1. That critical decision to come in, making sure that, hey, 30 seconds, more than enough time to come in and finish the job.
30 seconds is a lot of time here, especially when the crowd is cheering and we're also waving our hands. Definitely do check that out later on in towards the replay. We sort of caught ourselves in towards the replay.
Yeah, guys, remember, 30 seconds is a long time.
That's what she told me too. I was, yeah, but I think it's long enough in my opinion. I mean, especially when you're drafting and getting into this one. But the game 2 will be underway soon, and I mean, I don't really think it was that big of a draft issue by Alpha 7. In the end, it was just all about execution.
Composure, execution, team fighting, everything is a part of play here, especially when we come to Honor of Kings late game scenarios here. One bad death leads to objectives given over to your opponent.
All right, so we have seen the first C coming out from the side of Elevate, right? They can make the comeback. Now, the other C we're looking for is, can they be consistent, right? This is one of the markers of a great team. You can play well, you can make the comeback, but how many times can you do it? Can you even take the lead? This is something that Elevate needs to have if they want to stay in KIC 2025.
Yeah, continue on. I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? A lot of momentum. It was very back and forth. They had their moments. Things are kind of up in the air in terms of who's going to take that. But Elevate, again, this is a situation where you're like, hey, you struck first. Alpha 7, you know that they're going to come back 10 times harder in this next one.
Yeah, there is never a chance that you know Alpha 7 is going to be like, you know what, hey, we lost game 1.
It's over.
Yeah, emotions are down. No, Alpha 7 is, no, you have given us the motivation to climb this mountain.
They have climbed the mountain before, and it was back during KWC where they secured top 8 in the Esports World Cup in the Honor of Kings World Cup here. For Alpha 7, this is yet another journey that they have to take on if they want to make it towards that top 8, if they want to face BTR in that lower bracket finals.
I mean, I'm getting flashbacks to KC2 on 2024. The track PR teams didn't do great. They kind of bounced out very early. So, I mean, potentially there, I don't want to get the cart ahead of the horse on this one, but losing game 1, again, it's all about composure. Settle down. You're still in this. You had a great game 1. You had that opportunity, but you can't fumble the ball in the end. You got to close out games.
I think that's the beauty of LAN events, whereby if it's offline, you have Elevate coming in game 1 with a comeback victory. The crowd is in their favor here. Now, if you're Alpha 7, you probably are pretty pressured in this position.
I think maybe this is the game to bring out the Organ, right? There's no Nerza option here. There is no Dharma option for the side of Alpha 7 as well. But Elevate, this is a repeat of game number 1. They are once again on the blue side. They get a prio pick. And you know what's scary? The early is open.
I feel like Alpha 7 has to take the early ban, so the loan can still go in towards their hands. And also, I think they are letting it over towards the hands of Azara. Potentially, they will look into counters like the Channel, for example.
It has to be the Channel, right? I mean, that's definitely one one of the things they're looking at. But Elevate has a completely different train of thought.
Interesting.
I like this. The Mayin here being teased for the side of Elevate. PKL power, I like this because it needs to be unpredictable.
Yeah, definitely unpredictable. I mean, for me, I probably would have gone with like an Arlie. I think it's a little, you know what I mean? It locks it in. You don't have that problem where it's going to be constantly banded. But it looks like Alpha 7 are just going to be like, actually, let's just counterpick what is coming to us. They're going to go with the Charlotte against this Mayan.
Oh, this is a very mid to late game counter here for the side of Alpha 7 here. Because Hyde on that Mayin can really win out that early game with ease here. But picking up both the side laners for the side of Alpha 7, this does allow them to properly formulate this comp towards the mid side, whereby they still need a tank, they still need a potential utility mid towards that mage.
But just the one-on-ones here, right? Like Hyde on the Mayin, he's going to be able to chase down this Y Caesar Arlie with ease. Now, add another problem to that. We're going to get the Haru special. This is going to be the pay. Tigerus, he's going to be monstrous.
Now, a proper counter here for this, or at the very least to ease out the draft, will be for Danny to lock in a potential Musashi or an Ogren that could really elevate their entire draft.
Dance with the wolves.
I think an Ogren will make a lot of sense, right? The Death Precipice allows you to heal, especially when you get the leader stance. Summoning of the souls of the wolves on the side of this channel pick. We'll see. But it is now time for Velau 1 to show us what he's made of. Zhang Fei is being teased at the moment.
I think that you still have options. I know that the Ogren is definitely an opportunity, but it looks like, I mean, the problem with the Ogren is it takes some time to get online, and most teams kind of crumble because they don't draft with like some early game heroes in mind, but they have the Arlie, which also does need some time as well.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time for the Arlie to come online, and I agree with you. So Ogren, I think, might not be the best pick. Oh, but I like this. Alpha 7, we've seen this, the PKL special. No Athena, we want our jungle undisturbed.
Correct. Athena roam remove does really relieve the jungle pressure coming in for the side of Elevate, whereby you have to worry for Alpha 7. You don't pick the jungler coming in at the pick tree here, so all these junglers that could really play against the pay will be removed from the pool here. I believe there is still likes of the Musashi and Ukyo, but that doesn't really fit into the pool where you need a frontliner for your team.
I mean, they have a tank, right, in the form of Zhang Fei, and looking at how aggressive Nyap can be, maybe that could be the potential ease to go for a greedy pick here. But the Lianpo is going to be taken out. Alpha 7 wants to make sure there is not enough defenses on the side of Elevate.
Yeah, I think as Elevate, though, you want to constantly just, like, target Danny, right? Take away more of this jungler so that you have a bit of an edge, because this Haru Pei, yeah, you're going to be fine if you're able to get going, but you also want to take away from the strength of Alpha 7, which revolves around Danny's play.
Why not just go for the straight-up assassin style, right? Play the Jing.
That is a potential 1v1 matchup as well, considering there's two marksmen on towards the side of Elevate. That could be considered, especially if you're Alpha 7. This is the same draft that they did back in Game 1. Give the final pick towards Danny to really decide what they want to go for, because there is still the Luna, but I reckon that the Luna will crumble under this early game pressure.
Fully agree, right? You can't afford to lose your Azure Golem in that first attempt, and here Elevate, straight up answer. This is a counter pick. The Xiao Qiao, known for giving enough burst damage in one fell swoop on the Arlie. It's confirmed, guaranteed kill if you land all your skills. Now Alpha 7, this is going to be a tough decision to make, but they do have some good synergy in their draft, right? They do have the Yixing and the Zhang Fei. These are all great synergies. Once the board is laid down by the Ball Master here, you will be able to get massive amounts of damage down.
Interested to see what Elevate drafts for their roamer here, because all the tank roamers has been removed from the pool, whereby Elevate right now, their draft is seemingly squishy with no proper frontline here. If they don't get the early game ball rolling and it falls into a full-fledged team fight, it will look much more in the favor of Alpha 7 here. But Danny wants to play the early game here. He wants to whip out the Luna to match in that jungle tempo. So Haru, he plays a big factor in actually invading in that early game.
Yeah, so it comes back to kind of the Zhao Xiao pick that they've had with Elevate here, because you can kind of get your Huntersway Breeze to kind of potentially predict where he's going to be, and you think that an assassin style jungler is going to be on the back line where the Arlie can be with that Parasol, so you have ideas of what they were trying to do, but yes, it's a little squishy for my taste.
I mean, and this honey is going to taste completely different for the side of Elevate in comparison to Alpha 7, right? For Alpha 7, once that Honey Sweet Breeze lands, it's going to be bitter, and it's not going to be bitter enough because it's going to be bittersweet. But for the side of Elevate, this one, that knockup could be the one that brings them to the skies. 2-0 maybe in this particular series of best of 5.
To find them into a 2-0 position, they will definitely need to play this composition with a lot of care and love, because this is definitely not an easy one to execute. No front line and all in on towards that early game here. If anyone is out of position, it will crumble almost immediately.
Yeah, look, there's always two sides to a coin, right? TLC, 10 to 11K is required for Alpha 7, but Elevate wants to give them the table, ladders, and chairs.
So they're going to look to Elevate is looking to take away Danny's blue buff as much as possible, right? And I think that that's going to be something to take note of. Elevate, on the other hand, very squishy. This is a potential. Even from the early skirmishes, they could be vulnerable to Alpha 7. That's correct.
That's true, but if you take a look at the composition on the side of Elevate as well, like Morto is probably going to go for that level 1 stun, the Cannon Blast. They can definitely invade here.
Well, to find out whether that is actually true, to find out who is the king of the jungle, let's hop into game 2 with Elevate 1 score on towards the board, leading the series, taking on Alpha 7, the last hope coming in from Chuck BR.
Final match, game number 2. I mean, I want to say that this is pretty much, you have to win this one as Alpha 7. If you're down 0-2 in a world of hurt, everything on the line, it's going to be way too much pressure. So this is one where, again, Danny needs to fly.
Yeah, Bilal already helping out, but here comes the cavalry.
Oh, they flash forward, hide with that pullback. The Cannon Blast a little off the mark. They're not able to stack their stuns properly, but it looks like they're going to take the Crimson. Danny, all he can do is watch.
It's a perfect start this time, Elevate. We talked about it, and straight away they get the job done. Alpha 7, not the kind of start you want in game number 2.
Yeah, not the start you want as well. And YSace are in the mid lane. They were doing a little bit of a lane swap, expecting some sort of aggression. They wanted Bilal to be somewhere to be able to help out. He had his stun as well, not able to do anything though.
And you know, they achieved double win cons here. Number 1, you slow down YSace. He's meant to rotate faster. That's why you put him in the mid lane, but he's not going to get it.
And it looks like friends across the world. Danny is, of course, really close with HPSZ and has known him for a long time. Joe's talked a lot with Danny, so that's why he's excited to play against Joe. Again, after Joe's return into competitive play, I don't want to lose again, so this time I will try my best to beat him, but of course, they need to beat Elevate here. But Fury with that flash away.
It's not fun at all. Alpha 7, the amount of pressure the Elevate are putting on them is really high.
Yeah, it's all about that momentum from game 1, right? They're continuing on. They know that, hey, this is a fast, very early lineup that they have from Elevate. They can put the pressure on, and Alpha 7 have to respond reactively.
Okay, I mean, with all the aggression that Elevate has placed onto Alpha 7, I think it's a blessing that the goal difference is only about 1,000.
Yeah, it's only 2 minutes in the game,
Yeah,
right? But Iblis, they're looking for steals as well. So, again, Elevate doing a great job. Knowing the strengths of the lineup, this is actually very key.
Oh, look, they also have the timing once again, Elevate. I like this new version. New and improved Haru, bringing it to the bush as well.
Yeah, Fury, all he can do is really watch. It's in the brush. He doesn't really want to walk into it. And with that smite, they take it again. And the pay system, the pay draft is paid off, but it looks like he's going to go down. And Niap making the rotation. He says, hey, what buff are you walking away with? That's mine.
Yep, no criminals here. The police will be on your tail here. And that police is going to be Niap for the time being. Alpha 7 recover well as well. Now it is their turn to take a peek into the jungle of Elevate. Not going to be greedy, just taking out the Tusk Force and start working onto the Azure Golem.
And look at how Alpha 7 right now, with Fury in that, just like dealing damage onto that the Azure Golem, so that Danny can pick it up even faster. It's all about efficiency at this stage. Danny is the guy.
And I want to point this out, right? In most times, especially when you have such high stakes, it's not as safe to be greedy. But I like the greed from both these picks. They're going for the Stone of Sorcery, not even the anti-heal. Hang on.
Yap flashing away, the dash away as well, and it looks like they're not able to get some sort of catch. Yap will be fine.
But this is a huge commitment, because take a look at the timer here. 4 minutes is coming up soon. Yep, won't be able to take part.
All right, I hate that. I hate whenever anyone says the word commitment. Ooh. Let's move on for this one. But Alpha 7 in this case, look, it's about defending against Haru, who's done a great job of, like, he's been off the map, he's been invading when he needs to, especially when it comes to those crimsons.
Okay, but the timing is a little better for Alpha 7. They're going to start running around. Yep, though.
Pull back. Yep, the stun, the Hunter's Way breeze and elevate will flex, getting that kill, putting the pressure on the top T1, but Alpha 7 using that space for the tyrant.
But the trade comes in clean. Elevate should get this. Haru gets the Crimson buff. They get the T1 at the top. So what? And also, they get the life of Nia.
Yeah, you got to stop the bleeding in some way. Again, Elevate with this fast-paced early game lineup, showing them how it's done. This is exactly how you want to play this lineup.
Yep, and to make matters worse, Hyde already has the exit torment. One more turret for the taking.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to have to defend. The top T2 already at half. And look at how much damage Haru is doing some work. They're not going to get it, but it's just barely hanging on.
I mean, you can count it as the T2 doesn't exist at this point, right? Alpha 7, they need to make some work happen at the bottom side of this map to make the trade. But instantly, they know this is coming. They push Wise Acer away. And now, the map, the gorge, is in control by the side of Elevate.
Yeah, one thing to take note of is that Elevate has done a decent job of kind of limiting Danny, but Wise Acer is also a win condition. Those are the two guys you got to constantly hound, making sure that you take away the farm. Hyde was in the mid lane.
Yep, and we also have to consider, right? Villau 1, we haven't seen any Unbridled Alphas just yet. If we get a big one from this guy, it could be the game changer for the side of Alpha 7.
Villau, man, he's cool, calm, and collected. He doesn't want to get angry. He doesn't need to go Hulk smash right now. No, they need to use it, right? Let me be very honest. Once he hit level 4, they should have been started looking for fights.
How many haulers am I talking to?
I don't know, even like 3. I don't know.
Well, we'll count the numbers because numbers are important here. Elevate now, catching up in terms of farm actually, just trailing. In fact, they're neck and neck. So Alpha 7, this next fight needs to be really considered. How well do you want to take this?
Ivalice waiting in the wings, potentially going in with the cannon blast, catching out Villau. He's going to be backing off. Now they need to defend these Crimson Golds. You cannot be giving them up for free.
Yep, and straight away Elevate, they make the very core decision here to try and rush the Overlord, and that's a great decision because they will get it. And now, Alpha 7, they have to deal with all the minute waves.
Yeah, looks like they're going to take the Overlord here. Alpha 7 sticking together, but they're not able to really find any sort of pickup. I mean, look at the enemy jungle. It's largely barren at this point because Elevate have kind of looted and pillaged their own, making sure that they've taken it away from Alpha 7.
Yeah, man, Haru's level is 11. He is 2 levels ahead of Wise Acer. That's an instant delete button if he gets his hands onto the Parasola here. So Alpha 7, they need to be really careful. They need information.
Yeah, look at this. Hyde with that steal. Danny actually a level behind Haru. So Haru right now doing some serious work. He's been making an impact on all 3 lanes at this stage.
At the same time, they're trying to stop this take on this Yo Golem. More importantly, it's actually about Villau here. Oh, nice attempt by Hyde. He's just giving some pokes, right? They want a T1 at the bottom.
Oh, they'll take this one, but Danny getting a little bit low. He's going to be focused in, and Ivalice gets the pick off. Villau, all he can do is watch, not even using the Umbrella Alphas to save your friend.
Yep, this is a disaster. Wise Acer in danger.
Oh, now they're going to go for this. The Umbrella Alphas on, and they find Ivalice to get the return kill, and now with Wise Acer doing some serious work on the back, but it looks like Villau way too far. Wise Acer's been killed as well, but Fury gets the pick, and Haru on the return wants the revenge, gets the pick off on a Fury.
You cannot stop them. The Tiger is online. Tiger is here by Haru. He is one of the big win conditions, but Azar as well. What a nice catch onto the lives of Wise Acer.
Oh, look at this damage. The mid T1 just going down so quickly. Haru is doing so much work in the early game.
Yep, they just beat him in black and blue. A nice ultimate by Villau, but unfortunately for them, even though they had Wise Acer with the damage, he got caught off with that last final shot by Azar there.
Yeah, just a great play all around. I mean, just making sure it happened. And I mean, Alpha 7, they're willing to fight. If there's a fight going on, they're continuing on, which might be the detriment to the team.
Which shows you, right? If Wise Acer does not make it out in the fights early on, they lose it.
Yeah, for sure. And now with the teleport in the mid lane, it looks like, you know, Danny, it's about the farm. He's so far behind. He's 2 levels behind Haru, who has been snowballing out of control.
Yeah, and Haru now at level 13. I think anyone is a buffet on the plate for Elevate at this point.
Yeah, which is, like, I mean, you could do whatever you want. You take whatever you want. This is your game to lose. And Elevate with so much pressure, doing such a good job have with this pay draft.
Okay, maybe there is a silver lining. Danny just got his hands on the insatiable tone. There is going to be lifesteal available for this Luna, but it's going to be a tough one because the level advantage, the gold advantage now, this side of Elevate. Gold advantage maybe not that much, but 1,000 is still something to consider.
Yeah, but most of that farm has, in terms of their advantage, has gone into the hands of Hyde. So this is good and bad, right? Obviously, Hyde will do a lot of or Haru, excuse me. But if Alpha 7 are able to get the kill on the Haru, that completely changes the dynamic of the fight.
That would be great. But let me give you one big problem here. Impressive. He has landed almost all of his cannon blasts, and he has been stopping Alpha 7 in their tracks. He gets free damage even before the actual fight starts. And look, Haru is maintaining with the advantage, getting the farm across the gorge as well, really quick.
Yeah, I want to see his. Oh my God, they find Evelyn. They get the pick off. Neop making him pay. What a nice play. Fury locked him in the board and really set it up for them.
Yeah, but what more can you get? That's the big issue for Alpha 7. You can get a kill, but you can't win the map. They need more map control. And right now, they're trying to funnel that Crimson buff into the hands of White Caesar. Great job. Neop finally gets his hands onto the Pure Sky as well as the Frost Scar and Breeze. Can these two tanky damage reduction items help him win the fights?
I mean, it's going to come back to that, right? Like, is it enough, right? I mean, you still also need damage on your own side. Danny right now is about 1.5k behind Haru, so this is another bit of a struggle. He's been farming so slow because the buffs have been largely taken away from him.
Okay, look, the timer is up. Danny approaches this Tyrant. He's looking
Danny
for the back.
gets the pull back onto Haru. Back in with the Tyrant is about half-life and will be tethered. Cannon blast a little off the mark line, and now the Umbrella Operation is going to be committed. He saved it for so long, and now they have the board, but Hyde is going to be picked off. Azar is looking for the hunt. He's not able to find Fury. Bilal is looking to go onto Azar, and now with that piece, it looks like they're going to be backing off with that cannon blast to the face.
They cannot find an opening at all, and Danny now, he's going to try and make the play here. He steals away the Crimson buff. In the meantime, Elevate say, this is a lost cause. We're going to give you a distraction. We're going to start working on that Shadow Overlord instead.
Yeah, they're going to take that one. But Danny looking for this Tyrant. The Overlord has already been picked up by Haru. How quickly was that done? And now with this Tyrant at half, Danny decides to find Impressive with Ivlis there. He needs the backup. And now with Bilal, that Cannon Blast is slowing him down. They've gotten Impressive. And then they're continuing. Neop is not scared. He's going to trade his life away. That was a little too deep.
Yep, definitely a little too deep here. Alpha 7, they need to rush this really quickly. There is going to be a potential for a steal, not going to happen still. So Alpha 7, they make a good play, but they need to now do damage limitation because the Shadow Overlord has been summoned to the top side. Haru taking a bite out of this Crimson buff.
Yeah, I don't think Alpha 7 are at the point where they're like, okay, we've stabilized everything is Gucci, but they put themselves in a much better spot. Right now, net worth is a bit of a wash, but Danny is the guy. Once he starts getting those items, he's going to be even scarier, because if you look at the rest of Elevate, they are so squishy and vulnerable to him.
Exactly, but you know what? They have a silver lining as well. There is a Splendor.
Haru 101. They find Haru. He gets the searing stab right on this one. If the shields are going to be here, and Azar looking for this one, and Danny might be in a bad spot. He's going to go down. Azar on cleanup duty.
Why? Why did he go for it? Danny, he was all alone. He knew his team members were not around, and now Haru at the top of the goal charge, looking for more. The T2 will be under pressure. Azar brings the souls of Elevate fans together with them in this game number 2.
Yeah, a little greedy by Danny there. I mean, your net worth is behind, and finding that guy, you're not going to really win. But Ivlis with that passive, Bridal Outburst is going to be on the 2 with that board. That's going to be nicely set up, but Ivlis somehow finally falls in the end. But now they're going to stampede on Bilal, looking to do some work. They're looking to trade it. Bilal is going to be killed. Neop is going to be there. He finds Impressive. 3 members down from Elevate, and now they're going to be on the run.
Right, so they give all the line.
Danny with that series stand. They find Haru, but Fury's going to be killed and trading away his life. Not a good trade for Elevate.
Definitely not, because the T3s still stand on the side of Alpha 7. And now they have about 30 seconds to make something happen across the gorge. Elevate, they're lucky they have a T1 in the mid. They still have the T2s, but right now Azar, he's the only thing standing between them and immense defeat here. Nice catch on that board. This was the big setup, allowing for the multi-man catch with the Bilal Bridal Outburst.
Yeah, that board into the Umbrella Outburst, so good. And then it really paid off. I mean, it looked like it was very close, but this is that moment where they had that advantage. advantage. And it's like, what, Haru, what are you doing? Fury is not the guy. He's like a secondary support at this stage.
I mean, the decision making was just not fast enough. Elevate, they actually made a good play, but look at what Danny is doing. He is going to get caught out again. He needs backup. So Alpha 7, they're going to send someone down.
Yeah, it kind of, I mean, they need to play faster. Danny needs to be more careful, too. I mean, he has 10.4. He's going to do a little bit of work, but again, you got to pick your targets wisely. You are still very vulnerable at this stage.
For sure. Now, if you take a look at the itemization on the side of Haru as well, he is getting the damage reduction in. He does have the Succubus Cloak. He's going to be able to hold his own against the damage of Danny and Fury. At the same time, the Pure Sky, 30% damage reduction if he ever gets into a 1v1.
Yeah, if he gets that opportunity. But Niap split pushing in this bottom lane, that's going to put up a little bit of pressure here. Elevate need to respond to that.
Yep, the timing that is Elevate for the early game aggression slowly trickling down. Everyone on the side of Alpha 7 is reaching 15 soon. Only left with Allow 1 and Fury.
I want to say that Alpha 7 are in a fine spot. I mean, this net worth lead is actually shifted in their favor. It's been about the towers. I mean, that mid T1, once that goes down, I think Alpha 7 are going to be in prime position.
Yeah, okay, so Alpha 7, if they don't take a fight here, it's fine. They will secure themselves. Niap going up against Haru.
Finding 2. Fury's about half-life. Overlord picked up already. Alpha 7, that's the target that they wanted. Can they get any sort of catch? They're not going to get the Azure Golem, but Alpha 7 still just moving to the mid lane.
That was a really early usage of the ultimate by the side of Ivalice.
Oh, they've got all 5 members. They were looking for the gank, and they find Fury. They get the pullback, the passive, the flash away, and he's been chased down. Hyde ensures that he gets it. He's going to cartwheel back to safety. Bilal is not going to do too much, and they find this out, and Elevate is continuing on, doing a little bit of work on the Niap with 2 members down from Alpha 7. They have an opportunity here.
Yep, this is doors opening. They're pried open. Who cares about the backdoor defense? Alpha 7 now, they need the damage, and they don't have it for the next 30 seconds. Danny may be 15, but he is not a one-man army yet.
Not a one-man army at this point. Elevate doing a smart move, taking the Azure Golem. The Vanguards are there, so they have to deal with that, but they're going to take the Shadow Tyrant instead. And this is structural damage on that T3 bottom.
I mean, at this point, I think it's fine, right? Because you have an open wound in the middle side of the map. Now, Alpha 7, they will have to manage this. Lucky for them, it's right smack in the middle. You get to move towards the neutral objectives a little quicker than if it was on the opposite sides of the map.
Yeah, and just this back and forth of this game, this entire series has been throughout. I mean, it looks like Alpha 7 kind of fumbled a little bit on that one. They've given up a little bit of this lead, but Elevate finding ways to come back into this one.
It's all about the control, right? Right now, it's all about Ivalice and Impressive. Can they get the catches? We've seen Hyde as well. His immense potential to catch Fury and force them off. That is a win condition they need to achieve.
Yeah, and Impressive with the Cannon Blast a little off the mark. He needs to be a little bit careful. Just Shadow Vanguard, very slow and steady. Alpha 7 looking for that siege, but it's not even going to get to tower range. Elevate doing a good job of just mitigating what that Shadow Vanguard does.
Yeah, man, I like this positioning, right? Danny can't go in. They are under and very close towards the turrets. Oh, hang on, Hyde manages to force the flash.
Oh, he flashes away. Niap, he's going to be chased. Now here comes Bilal. Nice 3-man unbridled outburst, and that should be enough. Hyde, though, is the low one, and it looks like Sacer is going around. Hyde is going to be killed. Nice stampede with that stun, and that's going to be Sage's Sanctuary. Bilal trades his life away, and they're going to find it, and they find Haru. He's going to be picked. Danny is somehow still alive, but he's been bounced around. He's going to use the Sage's Sanctuary. Hey, Fury has to go golden. He doesn't get over the wall, and Azar up to the triple kill, making a quadra kill. He wants to go for the penta, but instead, he's going to push the mid lane.
Sacer, he needs to go back, but Impressive is going to stop him. He has found him. There is a chance to win the game at this point.
Oh, the box locking him in. Sacer, Impressive doing such a great job, and they want to end the game. What a great play by Impressive, and Azar is going to win this game.
Elevate 2. Oh, what did we say? PKO come alive.
For the PKL home favorites. You can hear the fans. They are absolutely roaring for the squad.
I mean, we bring it back to the initial point you made right at the start of the ban pick. You said that the Luna was a risk because there's so much control. And look at the control that they laid. Impressive, this guy. He is such an irritant.
I mean, just at the very end. I mean, like Impressive will probably not win MVP, but that play, that was so clutch. Like locking the Y-Stacer down so that he can't even recall, just so that you have Azar end that game. Really heads up play there.
Yep, super big play. And of course, yes, we will put it up here. Elevate, the dream stays alive. PKL can still have 3 teams into the knockout stages if this continues here.
That is exactly correct. You know, with that performance alone, they are right now 2-0 in terms of the series score now. One more, and they will eliminate the final, the last top VR hope from KSSG 2025 contention. And our liver will be at stake.
It's funny because the 3 of us actually have our livers on the chopping block for this. And you know what? I would not have it any other way. I mean, the way that Elevate won that was big.
I would have it another way if I could choose and manifest.
But calm down, guys. It's still 2-0. There is always potential of a comeback because out of the 2 games that we saw so far, it has always been in a potential of Alpha 7 controlling that early to mid phase. But down to those final few moments, it was really, once again, Azar on his carry performance.
Just carrying. I mean, 10-0 and 1. 1-0-0-1, like this guy, like what else could you have done? Alpha 7, it seemed like they didn't really were able to get on top of him. Azar, like yeah, you have stories, you have ways to kind of dash around, but it didn't seem like Alpha 7 were doing a good job of prioritizing.
I think there's also a lot of concern over to the side of Danny and Nia because a lot of uncharacteristic plays towards the early game, and you can see the Luna 0, 3, and 4, and this was the last pick Luna where. Which options of the potential counters like the Musashi and Ukyo still up and available. So putting this pick on towards Dani and him having this performance definitely puts in a very bad taste.
But it is value, right? We understand why he picked it in the first place. The backline on the side of Elevate is pretty squishy. If Danny gets that angle, he could have won the team fight for the team of Alpha 7. But here's the thing, the comparison between Y-Sacer and Azar, the damage output close to double on the side of Azar compared to Y-Sacer. And the positioning, I think, is the core difference. Azar is never seen until he's needed.
That is correct, whereby you see the 26,000 damage taken only really says a lot about Azar as a farm laner, and he also boasts the full and the highest team fight rate, 73% across his team. Win if Azar dies. That's the game plan for Alpha 7, but he never dies. He's 10-0-1.
Yeah. 10-0-1. Just what a great game. Right? I mean, Alpha 7 on the other hand, you're like, hey, we must win this one. They had their opportunities, but it just seems like they were kind of really not on the same page. They were really struggling at times.
Look, it's so close. The minion last hits, the GPM,
everything.
The participation in kills, and even the total kills, it was neck and neck. But the main difference was just the positioning, that effect that they have on the team fights. Very different coming in from Y-Sacer as well as Azar.
But this is the potential of the late game channel that we talk about, and he reached that late game, and also back-to-back MVP for Azar. He made a statement coming into the series.
Yeah, I mean, your team is on an elimination series. Somebody needs to step up, and you know that Azar was like, I got you, bros. I got this one. I mean, with back-to-back MVPs, what more can you ask for from him?
I mean, he's a shining star. I think this is the first time I've seen a lower than double-digit percentage in terms of damage taken throughout the entire KIC 2025, right?
And you gotta consider as well, kid, that is a lot of backline access coming in for the side of this Alpha 7 lineup, whereby this man, his positioning has been perfect.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't want to discount what Azar did in terms of his positioning. He was always in the back, always safe, but it seemed like Alpha 7 were like not prioritizing, not jumping on. You had all the tools, but you never found him.
That's the thing, whereby you see all these plays coming in, it was always Danny or Nia not inside or falling to front. This is not really acceptable when you are drafting a composition that requires you to really go in for the 5-5 angle.
Yep, I think it's more impressive.
Correct.
Right? So at this point, impressive was the main guy who was trying to get the stops in, the stunts in. It really broke the synergy that was supposed to happen on the side of Alpha 7, right? We wanted Niap to jump in, but every single instance, look, impressive. He's buying time for the team. He's getting the attention, and even that one stun onto Y-Sacer, that made the difference.
And to break down this play as well, the start of the fight, we see Bilal sacrificing himself to trade away Haru here. Very good trade because you got away the jungle, everything. But check out Azar's position here, untouched for the entirety of the fight here. And this bush play is actually so genius because it hides away the vision that the enemy isn't able to auto-attack you in the first place.
That's like the dream, right? As the farm laner, never being touched, never being focused. Correct. And the impressive right there, did you see the flex? You saw that, right? The flex recall. He was flashing it. We've seen that before. And he was doing it right in front of the face of Weisacer. I'm sure he was very frustrated because, you know, again, Azar was able to close the game out with that.
Yeah, because at that point, you as Wise Acer, you know, even if you took Impressive down, what value did that bring? Nothing, because, you know, Azar was already at the crystal.
Correct. But that leads to the question here. It's still not over.
Yes.
There is the potential of a reverse sweep, but the footing and the mentality has to be correct here because so far, we have to give props towards the side of Alpha 7 Gaming. Game 1, Game 2, they were always in the lead prior to the 10-minute mark.
And I mean, even going into this one, they still have an opportunity. Correct. You know what I mean? It's not like the games have been like complete blowouts. It's just like you're making mistakes at the last minute, and then you're like losing because of that.
And it's crazy because if you take a look at the ban pick phase, Elevate are giving Alpha 7 exactly what they want. I mean, okay, maybe not exactly what they want. I wanted the Dharma onto Nyap, but yeah, that Dharma has been banned 100%.
That is correct here because it's also one of those ways that you lock away the counters, really limit Azar as a player here because Dharma is one of those heroes like Yin that has direct access towards the backliner. Hence you see in towards the draft here, every time the counter, the clash laner, will be taking away all these backline heavy threats away from the hands of Nia.
And it seems like, I mean, if Danny just has a slightly better game, it doesn't get caught out a couple times, trying to do that silly solo play, I mean, they would have had a much better chance because, again, everything was kind of resting on him, ensuring that he had a good game because Weisacer, as you saw, can't do everything himself.
Exactly, whereby channel into the early matchup, this often happens whereby the early will be out DPS by the channel and towards the late game here. Hence, we saw Weisacer did his absolute best, but in the end, it didn't really account to those final few moments.
Okay, and now Alpha 7, they're gonna switch it up here. They're going on the blue side. They have to. They want to get a prio pick, and I think this might be the solution here. Maybe Danny gets what he wants, or, you know, maybe not Danny. Maybe Nyap gets what he wants.
I think going to game 3 with the side of Elevate already expending all these strong jungle picks, you can start to really allow Danny to go on towards his comfort, like the Ogren, like the Dun, for example. All these are still up and available for grabs for the side of Alpha 7 Gaming here. So the priority does put into whether Niap gets all the big engagers, for example, the Dharma, Ma Yin, Guan Yu. This tree, this is the core tree that we're looking at.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it now for the Chalk BR fans. Those picks are never coming down. There's no way.
You have 3 bans.
Would never allow that, right?
You have 2 bans. One will come out eventually, right? So that's definitely something that they need to look into because Niap has been a consistent factor with his Byron, with his Charlotte into making those big plays. But they need to piece things together to end the game as a whole. But hey, again, we talk about 3 picks. You have 2 bans.
Okay, so I think the second ban for the side of Elevate has to be the Dharma, right? You don't give the Dharma to Nyap. Nyap has had super steady, consistent performances with that Dharma. I think that is his #1 pick.
The highlight reels coming in from KWC, from Chalk BR, features him a lot on those crazy engages here. So for the side of Alpha 7, they realize like, hey, someone's on a roll. Someone's on a back-to-back MVP roll. So they're batting out Azar in this case.
You know what? I'm really curious about this, but maybe Alpha 7 can take a peek at the Da Chao Flowborn tank composition. I think that fits Danny's playstyle really well.
I think he's also one of the players to play the Flowborn tank back in the KWC as well. So definitely he has what it takes to actually pilot that hero here if the team wants him to be looking at it. I do realize that Alpha 7 and this bandit pick, they need to put priority on towards Ogren here.
I think that's one of the big options here. But that first pick, I think you just give it, you just take the Dharma here. But then, you know, this is scary. When a team gives you a pick, you know they're prepared.
They're planning for it here.
Oh, for sure. And it looks like the mine's going to be picked up. Again, another good one. I think that from Fury, who will be able to be, you know, high flying on this hero. I think that this is something that really sets the tone. You want to be pressuring the lanes. This is a good first pick.
Okay, and look, I think Fury has stepped up today. His performances, his Yuhuan gameplay has been strong, you know, but it's just shy. The team synergy is just a little shy compared to Elevate. Elevate are a better team today.
I think in terms of skirmishes, it has been going in towards the way of Alpha 7, but talking about the entirety
I must
of
remain
the
true to who I am.
open team fights, it has been going away more for the side of Elevate here, and with this Dharma locked in, and also Ogren here, comfort picks have been stealing away from the side of Alpha 7 here. Not to say the best of the news here, but I need to see what Alpha 7 is planning to draft against this.
And this is a pain point for the Mai because these are big picks that are able to tank through the burst potential of the Mai, right? So essentially, in this first part of the ban pick phase, this Mai has been rendered very, you know, I would say useless is a very strong word,
Difficult.
but difficult position to be in.
It's hard. It's hard. I mean, those guys are really tough guys to go into, but they're going to go with a Sir Lung. This is one of his signature heroes. He's going to be very comfortable. If anything, this is a hero that can kind of potentially pierce through that armor.
This looks good. At the very least, they are securing a strong marksman with little to no counter coming in towards this draft, and also the McGee is a good lane counter into the Dharma in this instance here. Maybe for Elevate on this third pick, they could pick up the Yuhuan or the Hou Yi.
Look at you. Look at you.
Right, but I want to just pinpoint you towards this Mayin pick. Earlier today, OG Nova, we saw a 5-man knockout.
Exactly.
Drop kick 5-man from the Mayin pick. Will we see that from the side of Niap today? I mean, it's his only chance here.
It's his only chance. If they don't do it, it's bye-bye for the entire tournament's hopes here. So put a good start here and make sure that every game you play is a good game. That's the very least that they can do.
But it's not easy to do because everyone's trying to stop you from having a good game,
it's
right?
It's just a reassuring way to say that, hey guys, backs against the wall, just do whatever you can to come back towards the series.
Like in Honor of Kings, your opponents are trying to stop you from having a good game. In my ranked games, my teammates are trying to stop me from having a good game.
It's difficult, right? And it's going to be even more difficult now because take a look at the next band. I wanted, you know, the Musashi to come in for the side of Alpha 7. I thought that would be a great answer, but now they have to figure something else out.
That's 3 counters or the equal matchups banned away against the Ogren here. Pei, equal matchup. Agudo, counter. Musashi, counter. All locked away here. So I'm very curious to see what Alpha 7 picks up here.
I think they can go for one more tank. You know what? Elevate, just
one tank?
Yeah. No. The Lianpo maybe.
Elevate, Lianpo, they still have it. That's true. Alpha 7, they default back to the Dun here. So interesting enough, this was the exact same matchup that Nova CY went against OG Dao Dao in Game 5.
And they absolutely destroyed them.
They went fast though. That's the thing. They changed the tempo and they decided to, you know, he was outpacing the Ogren in that one. So they need to keep that up.
This drop by Alpha 7, they have a huge requirement to win the early game here, right? If you do not get the lead in the first 2 to 4 minutes of the game, it is almost a soft guarantee it's over. Elevate will walk all over you.
Fury and also Danny, these 2 players will play a pivotal role in setting up that success that you keep talking about here, whereby if they fail or succeed, that means a lot going into that mid-game whereby you see Elevate's draft. It's looking very solid if they can get it going.
And Alpha 7 needs to have great synergy in this game to make it work. Everyone needs to stay around Valau because once Hyde comes in, it's all over because they have a double composition here. If Valis can get that Destructive Deluge, force out that butterfly effect, and then Hyde is just gonna say, hi, I am here to give you the truth, and the truth
What am I gonna do? But no, it looks like it's gonna be the classic Rome one. I think he needs to be on point. Valau right now, a lot of eyes are gonna be on him because once those CCs are starting to hit and he uses the butterfly effect, at what point, and with that advantage, are they able to turn that team fight?
Who knows? Maybe Valau also shows up with the smite this time.
Oh, that's potential, right? Whereby you go in towards the jungle, you pick up some resources. But of course, you pick up the stun, you pick up the heal, that makes much more sense as a Zhuangzi, for example, right? But hey, who knows?
That would be a very ballsy pick because look, this is your last game potentially on the side of Alpha 7, right? This is series point for Elevate. The fans are feeling it, and the teams are feeling it as well.
You have to pull stop every marker. One step at a time, right, for Alpha 7. If they can bring this game back to a 2-1, then to a 2-2, that's where they can get their groove going and potentially make for their reverse sweep here. So, this game 3 is too important coming in from either sides.
way too important, right? Going into this one, it's got to be, you know, again, Alpha 7, look at things as a best of one. Slowly but surely, it seems like you had 2 games where you had opportunities to win. Yeah, you fumbled on both of them, but you're not out. You got to stay positive. You have an opportunity here.
Compose and calm and collected here. The 3 C's is exactly what Alpha 7 and Elevate needs coming into this game number 3, because everything is on the line right now. Alpha 7 will have to do whatever it takes to push the series to a further reach until that game 5. But if are they able to do that? It's for them to find out. It's for us fans to find out. It's for us casters to bring it to you live, as Kin and Holler will bring you the live action of this game number 3.
Thank you so much, Sagi, as we go into a potential match ender with this one. Dare I say it's a liver ender, I don't know. But this is not a good situation to be in if you're an Alpha 7 fan. And Elevate doing what they can. I mean, they had a great early start last game. They will continue to try to put that pressure on.
I mean, that pressure is a privilege for the strong. And right now, Niap is going to try and put this weight on his shoulders. He needs to have a successful game against Hyde, because if you allow Hyde to get that advantage, you are going to be slammed against the wall, and you're not going to like the truth of that.
Oh, for sure. For sure. You're definitely going to have a rough time on this one. But again, Alpha 7, okay, continue on. Y-Stacer had a good game last game. They need to do that. More of that, right? Danny, on the other hand, he needs to step up because he did not have a great game.
He needs to support a team. I talk about it. Alpha 7, this draft, it's a death ball composition. You need to go in together. And Elevate, they need to play the cards right? Time and separate the usage of your skills. You will find value in that.
Yeah. At the same time, I also feel like Fury, I mean, yeah, he had a good game last one, but this is also one was with the mind. This is the thing, you got to start the tempo. You got to get in his face. You got to potentially get some sort of pickoff. Maybe you go for Hyde.
I think for now, the game plan from the side of Alpha 7 is, okay, let's give Danny confidence back. Let's give Danny financial advantage. Let's help him rotate faster.
Okay. And it looks like Danny, on the other hand, he'll take this farm. This is great, right? Alpha 7, they want to be funneling the farm into Danny. Let him get a little bit of a head start. But they find it. Fury, I was talking about it on the Hyde. All the pullback. He was trying to flash away, and he got caught in. Yap getting first blood.
That is the value of the Mayin, pulling you back into the grip. And this one is a vice grip. Alpha 7, get a good start. It's 1 kill, not the biggest lead just yet, but there is a potential to make this into a giant snowball that's going to cause an avalanche that is a mountain on the side of Elevate.
All right, I think you made a mountain out of a molehill right now. It's just first blood, not the end of the world. We're going to get there, right? But a great start. This is something that they need to do. You got to focus on a player, make sure that that one guy has a bad game, and the rest of the team can take advantage of that.
Exactly. That's the game plan, right? And I think all of our ranked teammates have achieved that recently. So let's see if whether Elevate will be looking for that winning formula, because this one, if they win, they proceed and they knock Talk VR dreams all the way out of KIC 2025.
I don't know what happened with the schedule, but Azar getting picked off, that is something that we didn't even see in the last game. He's going to die pretty early in this one.
Okay, so it's not looking great for the side of Elevate, but you know what? Haru has been farming quite well so far.
Yeah, Haru was just like very efficient with his farming. He's going to pick up the Crimson Golem, wasn't stolen away by Alpha 7, but now in the top lane, he goes a little bit with the whatever, and Niap sure he gets that one.
Yeah, and this is going to be valuable, right? The goal difference now is, once again, it's not the biggest. Elevate, they're able to recover. Now it's about 500,000 gold in advantage to Alpha 7. But this next gank, if it's successful, it could switch the tides. Alpha 7, you're going to switch Fury up here.
Look at Fury. This is one where you know that Ivalice is there, and it's not being shown in the mid lane, right? So you know that Fury is in the outside lane somewhere, and Ivalice has to go the long way around. I mean, this has been completely pushed away because you see that Fury is nearby.
But it's something that, you know, Elevate are able to handle, because Ivalice doesn't need that much gold, right? The main thing here is just slowing Danny down. Danny did get that one wave in the mid by himself, but it's still behind in terms of farm and EXP behind Haru, and that's a cause of concern.
definitely a cause of concern, especially early, right? Elevate doing a great job of ensuring that Haru does get that farming efficiency as they rotate around. The 4-minute mark has just happened at this point, so the Tyrant, next big target.
Right, so the goal difference still stands the same. Elevate will be trading by a little bit, but if they get this with no contest, Alpha 7, they might regret the decision here.
Yeah, they just gave it away for free. They were not really contesting. I mean, look at where Danny is. He's all the way in the top part. Yeah, they'll take the peasant at this point, but it's really not a good trade.
They needed to have been in a position to be able to take a T1. I think that would have been a great trade, or take a buff. But as you can see, Elevate have already primed themselves because that's not available 10 seconds before the Crimson buff actually gets up. So Elevate, this is all in their game plan.
Yeah, all in their game plan. Very smart with the way that they move things out. I mean, taking that Tyrant, I mean, especially at the stage, it was a 500 gold lead, now it's only 300. It's still, you know, cutting into it. You want to get in as much as possible.
But this is something really cool about the Alpha 7 lineup, right? No matter what happens, they seem to be able to farm gold really fast across the map. Oh no,
yeah. Oh, he was looking for the ambush, but then he got caught out. He's gonna have to just sprint to safety, but he thought he was the aggressor on that one.
Yeah, for sure. It's good news for him. It didn't have to burn his flash, so there is a potential of a nice setup available.
Oh, the Ruined, the Unending Sorrow just mitigating that. So Impressive is gonna be back. Elevate on the other hand, they have 4 members in the bottom side of the jungle here.
I mean, okay, this is a rare situation, right? You mentioned this just now. Why is Caesar actually having the lead against Azar? Is this going to be the winning formula here?
I mean, he is one of the guys. He's been a pillar on this team in terms of their success. I mean, they need him, right? It previously was Juan, but now why Caesar stepped in, he is the guy. And Danny's been stuck in. It looks like he's going to be killed. Haru gets that one, but now Azar solo. He's going to be picked off as well. And Niap is on the killing spree with this double. He's going to do a little bit of work, but Haru is going to get over that wall with that path of passing, and with that kaleidoscope, zones them away.
Okay, so Danny made the ultimate sacrifice there, but I think the rewards were well worth it, right? They get the Valis, they get Azar, they slow down the farm on this flow-born marksman, they buy themselves more time, and if they can take this T1, it's going to be maximum value.
Yeah, Haru taking a lot of damage, but now they're going in. With that shielding, it's not enough. With that Ruined and the knock up, Caesar's going to get that one, and they want to go for at least some sort of revenge kill. They've been slowed down. Alpha 7 getting on out.
This is why Chalk VR is scary, because you may beat them down, but they will never stay there for long. Elevate, they're finally finding the Fury that is in the mid lane. This Mai is having some value.
Yeah, definitely a value, right? He's got a 1K net with the Niap waiting around. Might go for the potential steal. He goes with a whatever, and it looks like he doesn't actually get it. Azar is just too much damage.
I mean, he did raise the heart rate of Azar for a little bit there. Thankfully for him, he did get that Crimson buff. So in terms of fighting prowess, he will be able to deal burning and true damage.
Yeah, all about that at this point. I mean, Elevate, Haru's not going to have that buff. He's got the blue, so it's going to help him in other ways. But still, Alpha 7, you want to contest. You want to be in the heads of Elevate.
Yeah, and it's looking like it's a good sign, right? If you take a look, 5,500 for the side of White Caesar already has a Master Sword along with the Eternity Blade as well. That's a huge amount of damage. Haru, like we saw, couldn't handle the damage, and when you're pairing it up with Fury as well, that could be an insta-kill.
Could be insta-kill, and that's what they're trying to aim for, right? I mean, yeah, you have Impressive with that on SR. Those heals are something that you need to kind of work around, but again, Alpha 7, if they're able to find you, they have that potential burst.
Yep, and even Impressive will not be able to see it, right? The burst speed is too fast. I mean, that's why it's called burst.
Yeah, for sure. I get it. But now Elevate here, Haru still with that farm, a slight level advantage over Danny at this point. They want to defend this mid T1, but Alpha 7 on the ramp, looking around. Danny's in a bad spot. He needs to be careful. He has that wind slash, but now he's being focused. He might have been truth on the wrong way, but Niap looking for the angle, only gets one, and that's Hide. And the Unending Sorrow, this will heal and mitigate a lot of this one. Haru still up in front, and Alpha 7, both of these guys are poking and prodding. They're not really finding, but they get the Ruined and they find Hide.
Yeah, Fury, what a play, and the T2 should be guaranteed for the side of Alpha 7, but the T1 will be the trade. And you know what, Alpha 7, I think they're perfectly fine with this.
Yeah, they'll take this mid T1 at this point, so Elevate getting something. The Crimson Goal is stolen away by White Caesar, but the top T2 looking to go down here.
Yeah, this one is a guaranteed White Caesar. He does have the Crimson buff as well, stolen away from the side of Elevate, which is why they're taking a peek inside the jungle. But look who's there, Danny is there as well. And now Elevate, for the first time in 2-3 games, they're getting a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, definitely their taste of their own medicine. I mean, in 4K up, this is exactly where you want to be for Alpha 7. Again, it's all about finding the always impressive with that flash. Haru is there, but the wind slash not going to connect. Danny's got those shields with that Gale's benediction. They find Haru, they do some work, and they do get the pick off. Alpha 7 making a pay. Hyde is a little bit low as well, but Alpha 7 got what they wanted, which is, of course, Haru.
Yep, this death ball, I told you about it. Alpha 7 needs to group up, and the fact that Fury, he got the attention of Hyde, 1v1 made it out, and now Danny, they reward the team with the Tyrant. It's not the Shadow version just yet, but look at that, 5,000 goal lead for the side of Alpha 7.
Huge lead for Alpha 7. This is the game, and this is the style that they wanted to play. Elevate should have been on the back foot. Alpha 7 not able to find it. They decide to go the flash away. Impressive with that unending sorrow, and they find Azar. They don't have that damage, not yet, with just not enough.
They're tired of watching Azar on the MVP. It is time for Alpha 7, and now with the T2 taken in the mid, Alpha 7, they bid their time, they get what they want, and they get out.
Yeah, they get out for now, but why say, sir? A little bit of half-life, he'll play a little bit dangerously. He has that dragon if he wants to go, but now in the mid lane, Fury's still there. They find Haru, who's getting a little bit low. He has the shield and an infinite fastness. I thought he was gonna go for it. I was like, don't do this, so I say, sir, and he gets on back.
Yep, overdiving is not part of the game plan for the side of Alpha 7. And then bear in mind now, White Caesar has a lot of damage. He has a Daybreaker just recently picked up, so that Blood Rage is going to be negated by the side of Haru.
Yeah, I really like how White Caesar's really taking the onus on him to really step up. He's really done a good job in this series, putting themselves in. But now Haru and Hyde with this Azor. Yap looking for the play, goes with a whatever. But the Arrow Storm on the zoning side, Azor Golem going to be taken away by Elevate.
It's all about by time, right? Alpha 7, they know what's at stake here. This is the 10-minute mark. This is the shadow variance of both objectives. Now, the question is, Alpha 7, how do they want to play their cards? Do they want to go for Iron first so they can stop the attempt by Elevate and the Shadow Overlord? And it looks like that seems to be the game plan.
Yeah, I think that's fine. You don't need the Shadow Overlord for this one, for the push up point. You want that damage. Maybe you win a little bit of a team fight, take the pot up to 2, and then start looking at T3s a little bit later.
Yeah, right now, Elevate, they will take a peek. They want Fury. A taste of this mine will be great.
The Death Precipice with that slow, but Fury with just too much mobility, no sort of catch. Alpha 7 are making their way into the mid lane.
Yeah, and look at that. With the distraction, they get a T2 as well. Elevate struggling to keep the rotation on pace.
Yeah, they can't keep up. I mean, they're trying to react, but they're just too slow. They're sticking together. There's like this giant blob that is moving again way too slowly.
Yep, and they're being pulled in all the different directions, right? So Alpha 7 now puppeteering the movements of Elevate. And what does this mean? Once the 50 seconds are up, they can actually go and take the Shadow Overlord. And that is not good news for Elevate.
Yeah, so when we talk about teams having a good early game, this is the way. This is why it's so much easier. You're able to kind of control them, push them back, make them play your game.
Yes, that's exactly what you want to do. And pulling the strings, puppeteering. Niam won. He might as well give his life. But no, this is a Mayin we're talking about. He's going to run rings around the rosies with you.
But Haru, he's in a very vulnerable position. But the rest of Elevate are going to be there to ensure that he is safe. This could be a potential gank attempt. And they find Danny. They want to go for this Azor, but he's being bounced around. They have the damage, and they do get the Seer State onto Danny. And now comes Niap. He's going to go for the whatever play. He's finding onto 2. He wants to go for Azar, but he's going to be picked off as well. A double kill going the way of Haru, and they make them pay.
Elevate, you don't get greedy with them. The moment you make a mistake, they're all up on you. They will get the knockup, but it's not going to be enough. It is only a poke. And right now, Elevate, they have a big reward waiting, and that's the Shadow Overlord.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I mean, Danny had that moment. Yes, he gets picked off, but you cannot continue to fight 4 versus 5. That's an impossible task. And now the Overlord being picked up by Elevate, they've completely shifted this game into their favor.
Yes, and that gash at the bottom side, it is a little bit deep for the side of Elevate, but with the Shadow Overlord, they can stem the bleeding for the moment, maybe make it hurt for the side of Alpha 7.
Yeah, and look at Haru, man. This is like becoming that raid boss. He's going to be so difficult to deal with. There's really no answer. I mean, Weisacer has that damage, but you got to be so careful with the positioning here.
Okay, but this is why early game is so important. They have to burn through 5.
Oh, they find Azar. They get the pick. Niam going all in for this one. He will trade his life away, but that's a bit of an opening. And now Haru is vulnerable. Danny not able to get the wind slash. Haru is continuing to farm as he makes his way back into the base. Danny's still up in front with Impressive. He wants to go for the Crimson before he continues on. Has the wind slash, finding the target and gets Hyde. So they do make a pay, and Alpha 7 bouncing back again.
But this is a high risk, high reward. And it feels like Alpha 7, they know the odds. They're not going to be playing against the house here. This means they're going to try and defend against the Shadow Overlords coming down. They're going to send Fury to do so. In the meantime, stop that growth from Haru. They steal it away. Azure buff, that is, goes into the hands of Caesar.
Yeah, but one thing to take note of is the top T2 went down. The Shadow Vanguard is in the bottom lane, making some serious headway. So this is a good way of just getting back into the game, and you're forcing movements by Alpha 7 to respond. Elevate on the end, yeah, Hyde is down for about 5 seconds, but this is the best of a bad situation.
Yeah, so Elevate, I mean, they extracted the maximum value out, right? 2 out of the 5 turrets that are still available before you have access into the T3s. Now Elevate has taken down 2 of them. So with that being said, there is an open opportunity, a chance for Elevate if they break the T3 at the top.
Yeah, but Elevate have an opportunity. Like, it's not like they're completely blown out of this game. They have an opportunity for this one, but now Fury finding Hyde, who is so low, and here come his friends, and Azar is up in front, but it doesn't have enough to burst down Fury.
He doesn't need to. It's all about sending Hyde home. Right now, it's an unfair advantage. Danny, he will be accompanied by Bilal, who has the butterfly effect. This is not a fight that Elevate can take.
Yeah, they can't take it, and they will. I mean, Alpha 7 will pick up the Shadow Tyrant. Again, a little bit more damage, impressive. Needs to be careful. The Unruly Blade used just his own.
Yeah, man, but look at the access. They have given Caesar so much space. This is what you want as a farm lane.
Yeah, you want a free farm. I mean, he has largely been quiet. I mean, he hasn't done too much, but like he's 12,000 net worth, right? 3K net worth lead over Azar. He's 3-0-2. He's doing everything right.
Yeah, he is 6 slaughtered, by the way. This is going to be a scary situation, Siege Breaker. They also have information on the members, position of the members on the side of the Elevate. So right now, it's all about just a slow siege.
Yeah, slow siege Haru with the tether onto Fury. Fury will have a little bit of a harder time as well, as now Haru's gotten that tanky level where he's going to be difficult to deal with.
Okay, but they will be running out of time soon on the side of Alpha 7, right? Once Azar gets that 6 slots, his Arrow Storm, Arrow Shower will start to hurt.
Oh, Wind Slash finding Haru with that Flaming Palm. He has to pop the Blood Rage. He will get on back, but that was so close as well.
Yep, that's a great burn of resources here. Alpha 7 looking for the T3.
The Unruly Blade onto this one, just more of a zoning, but they tagged the top T3. Danny dodging the Arrow Storm. He's going to be moving back into the mid lane. Haru with that Death Precipice. Do they have any sort of chase? The Wind Slash on top of him to slow him down. Now the Unruly Blade. They're in, and Hyde with the truth. He's trying to set things up, but it wasn't really great. Niap with a pullback on Sorrow negating most of that, but they've gotten Hyde in the end, and they've gotten Iblis as Azar, and now they will look to just chase it down. They've gotten Haru and Alpha 7. All they need to do is deal impressive, march it down in the top lane, and they will get game number 3.
Yep, this is a great response from the side of Alpha 7. Crystal on the menu. They take it for the win, and there is hope for Talk VR here.
A glimmer of hope. A glimmer of hope. A glimmer. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that was a great game by Alpha 7. They need to do that only just 2 more times. Easy, easy.
It's the first step towards the success here of the potential comeback coming in for the side of Alpha 7 Gaming here. But definitely, last 2 games, the first and second one, they didn't meet their marker by closing out the series. But now, in Game 3, although there were a bit of blunders, it is much more complete in terms of a 5-man squad coming in from Alpha 7 themselves. Now, the question is, whether are they able to make this into our KIC 2025 first reverse sweep?
I mean, in terms of the draft execution, everyone knew what they needed to do. They understood the assignment. Let Caesar get going. Let Danny just kind of be that front liner, that tanky guy that needs to be. Not really putting too much pressure on him to really succeed, but you just need to stay alive. And they did enough to deal with Haru.
I think the explosive factor that we need to keep our eyes on is definitely Fury's Maestro 3, and also Niam on that Yin. These 2 players has been on the run every single backline flank. I gotta say, Azar was not having the game of his life.
It was not. I mean,
it was difficult.
Flowball Marksman is not the most mobile pick, right? End of the day. And it's super crazy because you have 2 big burst potential multi-man catchers available. One in the real engine, the knockup from the Maestro by Fury. And then you also have that nice get serious drop kick from the side of the Mayin, piloted by Niap, right? So originally, we thought, hey, Nyap is the main problem here, right? The Dharma, yeah, he's going to be the one to change the whole game. But then now you have Fury, who's also getting the multi-man setup. So many things to consider. And once you get Azar down, why Caesar having the lead? That was a big difference maker.
Yeah, it seemed like it just took a couple games to really get into the groove of playing. And like the adjustment after game 2 would be like, hey, actually, we need to focus Azar. And you saw the difference. It was night and day.
And the value of the last pick, Zhuangzi here, actually paid off pretty well. I gotta say, Hyde was pretty fast on his engages, but Bilal one was always there to use the butterfly effect to bail out Caesar, to bail out Fury from all those tough situations that we keep talking about that the potential of the Dharma could bring towards the table here. So overall, Alpha 7 executing to the draft to a very high level in this game 3.
And one silent benefit on the side of Alpha 7's draft that, you know, hindsight bias, they're pretty hard to aim at, right? Take a look at Ivalice here on the Lady Chen. You want to land the Destructor Deluge, but you need a correct angle to do so, right? You want that Truth Mantra laid down. You need to be able to get them at a certain angle as well. But everyone on Alpha 7 is just running around rampant. They're like flying in between the spaces of the gorge.
And look at this. I mean, in terms of damage here, Fury, absolute impact, right?
Monster.
With that Mai, just early game, really setting it up. Even towards the late game, he was doing quite a bit where they had to respect it. And then you had Caesar on cleanup duty, just doing some serious work on the loom. This is an Alpha 7 game, like, to the T.
Yes, big wins on the side of Alpha 7. This may be the first ever comeback, reverse sweep series if this happens. But Elevate fans, you know they don't want that.
Why you gotta jinx it? You know, like now that you said it, now everything is up at stake. Like, oh gosh, just let it go, man, and then we would have been actually happen.
Now, whether or not that actually happens, it usually doesn't come in towards a jinx. It comes towards whether the players can pull it off. But you look at this goal graphic, this is exactly what you wanted as an Alpha 7 fan coming into Game 1 and Game 2, whereby Game 1 and Game 2 is the same story, where Alpha 7 does well in the early game, and then there is always a bit of a team fight that goes into the favor of Elevate. So moving on to Game 4 and Game 5, if Elevate wants to go for that big win, big reverse sweep, they need to look out for those comeback fights that Elevate is so good at.
Yeah, they need to be a little bit careful. I mean, look, both of these teams, not flawless. There are definitely mistakes on both ends, but it's all about who makes the least number of mistakes. And in that one, Alpha 7 coming out on top.
Yeah, I mean, it's false error, right? Take a look at the vision score. Azar, he doesn't want to have such a high vision score. It means that he found out the presence of the members on the side of Alpha 7. And, you know, every single moment he found the presence of one, it almost spelled instant death.
It was very scary, especially, I gotta say, the Mayin and also the Mai Shenui constantly looking at you and you're just like, help, please? Like, anyone? And then it's like, after 1 second, you're just gone.
Surprise! Where are you hiding? Bang, bang, bang.
Okay, MVP of this game, we will definitely, it has to be him. We have to award towards Fury. His Mai Shiranui from start to finish has been phenomenal in setting up the plays 3-0 and 7 while being always on towards the front end, making those big plays, big movements that got the side of Alpha 7 the lead they required to end this game number 3.
Just really well played by Fury. Well deserved. Exactly what you wanted to do on the Mai. And that's why they went with the first pick. Correct. They were like, hey, we're going to set the tone. We're going to win this game off of his pressure.
Now, this is also a very interesting fact whereby you give such a skill-heavy pick at the brink of elimination game number 3 towards Fury, and he still pulled off in a masterclass where you can say his, how would I say it, his heart rate or his like composure is just up there as a player himself.
Yeah, and this one for me was a little bit scary because Danny actually sacrificed his life in the early part of the game. And yes, they did have the goal advantage, but then Nyap as well as Fury coming in to save the day really changed the whole situation and allowed him to get the goal lead as well. And the initial first few kills, Caesar onto Azar, getting him out of the bag here and putting him way behind in the goal ranks, that was a big difference maker.
It was 100% an adjustment right after game 2. They were like, you have to focus. Hey, Azar, he is the #1 target, and it almost seemed like to a fault they were trying to prioritize him.
And this is the value of this Zhuangzi pick here. We saw Hai getting in the perfect set, but it was the immediate butterfly effect making it almost useless, I would say, because you lose out the wall stun, you lose out the full damage potential, and it all got neutralized coming in from this final Zhuangzi pick.
Just too much in the end. I mean, Alpha 7 being able to bounce back into the series. I mean, it's not equal. They still have a mountain decline, but that's a great start.
2 games sounds small as a number, but 2 games is very far in terms of a mental pressure being put onto you, especially when the crowd is cheering so loud and supportive for the side of Elevate.
So I'm gonna ask the difficult questions here.
Okay.
Are we gonna go into a Tempest game? What do you think?
So far, I don't think so, whereby the game has always been ending around 15 to 16 minutes, maybe game 5,
All right, so I think we need to take a breather for both teams. Reset the mental state for both sides and come out stronger. So we'll go for a short break. When we're back, we bring you game number 4.
Hello and welcome back to the Honor of Kings International Championship 2025. This is the day number 4 where teams will be leaving the stage if they lose in this series here. We are featuring right now Alpha 7 Gaming going up against Elevate in game number 4, where Elevate is currently leading 2-1 in terms of the scoreline.
Okay, so we will take a look at the depth of the hero pools, right? We're heading into the 4th game right now, and this one's really important because they've expended quite a few picks already. The RD is still available for Elevate, though.
But that's the thing. Alpha 7 can always take a ban on towards it, but if you look towards the jungle, though, that's a lot of heroes burned for the side of Elevate. Yang Jian, the Pei, and also the Ogren, all these are top picks in towards the meta here, all being used up.
You're kind of scraping at the bottom of the barrel at this point, right? I mean, you're going to do what you can, but I think that we don't need to panic about it. I think that both of these heroes, like Danny's going to be fine, Haru's going to be fine. Like, they have a lot of them.
I'm not panicking, you know. I'm just stating some facts. That's all. And
in a very fast tone, a very anxious tone, I would say.
like Daddy used to say, eat slow, talk slow, and manifest slow. Thank you, Daddy Holler.
What? Since when did you say those words?
I don't know, man.
It seems like wise words and things that I would not say.
Anyways, this is game 4 of the draft with Alpha 7 defaulting towards the blue side and Elevate selecting the red side for the main counter here. And that's the early that Kim was mentioning about, locked away from the MVP player coming in from Elevate, which is Azar.
Okay, this one is a bit difficult, but once again, the Alpha 7, they get the prio pick on the blue side. And, they won with the last time they were prio pick. So does this mean there is something else on the board that A7 are definitely looking forward for?
Well, if we were to look towards the ban right now, questions will be looking at a few things. For the side of Elevate, you don't want these picks like Guan Yu, Dharma falling in the hands of Niam after that crazy game you had with the Mayin. So same thing for Alpha 7. They are targeting specific players here. So Arlie, Direnjay, all these last few strong picks towards the draft will be removed from Azar here. So Azar going into this game will be having a bit of a uncomfy situation with those non-meta picks.
Yeah, very smart. That's pretty much the direction that you want. I think that Haru and Azar are the guys that you really want to focus. And some of these heroes that, Alpha 7 have already picked themselves, so they're going to try to target as much as possible. But Alpha 7 looking like Yang Jian first.
This is a flex, potentially going to the jungle breach, the clash lane, but there's still no more Dolia anymore coming from Alpha 7. They expanded that back in game number 1 for the U1 Dolia composition here. But I do believe this Yang Jian will eventually fall towards the hands of Nia.
Yeah, I feel like this is a flexible change here that's available for the side of Alpha 7. But Elevate, this is one of Azar's signature heroes, the Marco Polo and Haru. Playing it big, right? Go big or go home because they want to close it, they want to close it now.
These are strong 2 picks here. I can say it's oozing confidence coming in from the Elevate lineup, but when these picks come up, it does mean high risk, high reward. So they have to tread the needle in this case. Alpha 7 also taking away the Diadea, which is also a good combination with the Marco Polo. So that's a denial away from impressive.
Yeah, that stun, that CC is what you're looking for. So the Diadea could definitely be a bit of a problem. They're going to pick up the Chano as well.
This is strong.
To just kind of deal with that, Marco Polo in lane.
Dance with the
wolves. I'm curious to see what does Elevate have in response here. You have the big assassin jungle. I believe Haru should be able to get his hands on the Wise Caesar pretty much throughout this entire game. And there we go. Elevate, Athena, Rome, Smite. This one is a fun one to watch.
It's going to come in strong. Whether or not Alpha 7 can hold the line here is the question here, because we've seen so far Athena Rome, it has been pretty darn annoying here. And did Elevate really learn their lesson? If they did, they'll probably bet a Gun and more here on the 4 and 5.
I mean, PKL, they have already,
there we go.
Polished this Athena pick, and yes, for sure, Gun and Mo not going to be an available pick for the side of Alpha 7.
So, what's a good way to deal with the Athena Rome then? It's obviously about execution, but in terms of hero, what are you looking to do other than just obviously killing him as much as possible? But he's gonna smite, he's gonna steal things anyways.
You need to ignore him, which is Athena, and then you go in towards the enemy jungle and brawl them for every single objective here. So potentially, if you're Alpha 7, you need to drop Danny a very strong early game jungle, like the Pei, like the likes of the Ogren here, and then consistently invade Haru and make life difficult for Haru.
Okay, that's a task that is really difficult to do right now. Elevate, they're going to ban out the Kong Ming as well, another specialty on the side of Fury. Aggressive mages. That seems to be the formula working for Fury today.
I think you continue on, right? It's all about that early game lead, and then if you're able to burst down, I mean, the Jing and the Marco Polo both very squishy. If they're able to get the target with that winning strategy, pretty much insta deletion.
So Noah's available for the pick on the side of Alpha 7. Do you think that's a probable pick coming for A7?
So, like, it's definitely possible, but I'm just not a Nua fan. I always feel like if you're, not having a great early game, you really fall behind, and it's like a win more hero.
Oh. Like, to your point, when the enemy drafts in Maestro and Nui, I don't think the Nua is that plausible, whereby they already have the Athena roam here, so you need the fast wave clear towards the mid lane for consistent movement towards the core here. So something towards the mid lane that has fast wave clear. Anything that comes up into your mind.
I am thinking I have nothing. I'm drawing a blank.
I'm also drawing a blank right now. I'm actually thinking like all the picks here coming to game number 4. I don't really have one on my platter potentially.
I'm going straight for Milady.
Well, Lady is possible. Well, Milady is one of the counters against Elevate, but to play it safe as well, they do hover the Ladies in to really play against this specific lineup, whereby you need a lot of CC to lock these heroes down.
Actually, the Milady would have made a lot of sense. I mean, obviously, we're talking not possible at this stage, but it does make a lot of sense because you're forcing basically the Mai to stick in lane, right?
Correct.
And then it has to deal with all the minions, so to speak. So it would have been all right, but they're going to go stock standard. They want to go about the control more than anything else. The Lady Jeanne, the Ogren, really rounding off this draft.
Now, this Ogren, right, we'll have to see the playstyle. Is it going for the invasion or playing for the defense?
I think it doesn't matter. Because if you take a look at the sign up of Elevate, they literally bypass your front lines. You have the Jing, you have the Marco, you have the Mai, who's in a... sorry, is there entrance fee? No, I'm not paying that. I'm going straight in.
To talk about that, really, they will have to go for the Sun Ce because there's no more Clash Leader in towards that pool. But you have to wonder, like, hey,
the memory of you,
what's the game plan for Alpha 7 in towards that early game? The jungle side, right, where we talk about Athena. She's definitely coming towards the jungle.
Yeah, who's
you gotta
gonna
be ready for
protect
it. I mean, it's not about who's gonna protect you. It's like, how are you gonna do it? It's like, are you gonna play defensive? Are you gonna invade the enemy Jing? What's the game plan you're coming in for the side of Alpha 7?
I mean, the dream scenario is you invade the Azure Golem because Haru needs to start there, right?
Correct.
That's number 1. Number 2 is you get the first blood onto Haru and hope that, somebody on your team on Alpha 7 stops Impressive and also doesn't allow the buff to be taken.
I'm wondering if you got the script ahead of time, because it seems like it's very step-by-step, and if it happens, how would it say to it?
He's looking towards the future right now and telling us that this series might be a 5-game series. Or it could
it's
end
all
here.
about momentum, right? I think that the biggest thing right now, Alpha 7 winning Game 3 was huge for them. That was really setting the tone of being like, hey, we're tough out. We're going to continue to fight. The potential is definitely there. It really comes back
of coach of Alpha 7 really plan out for this game number 4 here. If they can stall out the early game tempo coming in from Impressive and make sure that this game goes towards the equal, towards that mid game. In terms of draft, Alpha 7 has a much more consistent and well-looking draft.
Okay, I like that fact, but there is also something happening on the place card here. Impressive's face is becoming very shiny on the play card for me now. I think he's going to be the game difference for the side of Elevate.
So you're reading like the tea leaves, so to speak,
Yeah.
in terms of what is going to happen. I thought you just got like a script with like actual writing on it, but if you're going to do that, then I kind of question this right now.
I mean, look at the stage. There is a light shining down onto Impressive. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's on its way here. Will Alpha 7 equalize the series and bring us a Game 5 for the potential reverse sweep, or will Elevate eliminate Alpha 7 from KIZ 2025 contention in this game number 4? As it goes on to his ways, casters, let's go.
Let's go indeed. I mean, Alpha 7 right now being aggressive, and this is what you kind of want. And look at how Jing is actually invading. He knows something was going to be a stray. He's being aggressed.
Yep, and this is great news for the side of Elevate.
Yeah, look at that, impressive. Looking to go for that smite. He will probably give up first blood on that one, and that's going to go the way of Danny where you want it to go.
Yeah, first blood, great, but this is not the situation where the first blood comes in value. Elevate will have a big win here.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a big win. It's going to be super annoying, and now he's shown up, and it looks like Alpha 7 are not going the way of ignoring it, but they're just going to constantly focus it and just walk around with him more than anything else.
Okay, if they can steal this Crimson Golem, then I think, yes, Alpha 7 have recovered well. But Elevate, they're not going to allow that to happen.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, Danny does have the smite, but he doesn't want any piece of that. They're going to be scared, knowing that they're being haunted, and understanding that, hey, if Danny were to invade, Elevate would No, like you have that, again, that ghost, that specter, if you will, following him around.
And it's a risk, right? Because at this point, right, Danny does have the Azure buff. Imagine you go for the steal, you lose your life, you lose both buffs.
Yeah. I mean, and another thing is that impressive where if he's able to smite away like a buff and he gets killed and it happens to be like Bilal or whatever that gets the kill, again, you're taking away the buff from Danny, so it's also not great.
Yep, I like that he's
A
hiding.
little bit of farewell. They've got impressive. Yeah, can't really hype that one up.
Nah, he's gonna keep falling, but that's the game plan here, right? Because it's all about information. And Elevate, you know, with better information, with a lineup that is aggressive, as clinical, Jing Mai as the Marco, you know they're gonna finish the job.
Yeah, he's gonna do that, and he will just constantly just be around. And look at this, he's starting the Azure Golem. He's actually kind of helping out Danny, speeding it up, the smite away, and Danny actually gets that one. So impressive, really kind of helping Danny farm.
Hey, but Haru didn't make the steal. Okay, so the rotations by Alpha 7, I think it's valuable at this point. They do get the stop down, and they haven't been able to extract all of the values on the jungle side of Alpha 7. And Elevate, this is not supposed to happen. They're supposed to put more pressure.
Yeah, they would have way more. And I mean, impressive on that one, just a little bit into that mid lane. I don't know if it really helped or hurt them in the end. He wasn't really able to do much at that one with that life.
I mean, okay, so at this point then, it comes about the other neutral objectives, right? So Space Sprite, the Firehawk, all of these need to go into the hands of Elevate for them to find value across the gorge. Impressive, yes, we talked about it. Saki has explained multiple times. The gold from getting the knockdowns onto Impressive are not going to matter that much in the later parts of the game.
Yeah, and even when we see like the other Athenas that are being used in the KIC, is usually they kind of keep on pace, and sometimes they can actually carry. They do some decent amount of damage. They're able to kind of contribute, but it looks like Impressive in this one has really not had much success. He's level 3, won't even hit level 4 at this point.
Yeah, and the EXP does come into contention here. While Danny is a little bit behind of Haru, getting these information about where number 1 Impressive is also allows them to kind of dictate, because it's predictable now. You know that, hey, Impressive is always going to be at our side, and you learn how to handle the pressure, and the direction comes for your other teammates. Hey, Alpha 7, what are the rest of you going to do?
Yeah, and that is a bit of a problem, especially late game, right? Because he's not going to be like a full-on, teammate with a lot of items and a net worth, so to speak. And now Impressive does get that steal. He's going to be, now he needs to be chased down. Danny needs to ensure that he gets this. And Impressive, the more time he runs around off of that one, and now Danny will secure that buff.
Yeah, it's really about buying time, right? Elevate, they want to buy time because Azar late game, this Marco Polo will be a menace. At the same time, Haru late game as well, holy. You don't want to experience the tail end of that blade.
Yeah, you do not want it at all. I mean, he's been farming, he's been off the map, he's doing a great job. The Kachus, and with that Ruinjin, Niap is not being pulled away, and Ivalis doesn't make the play.
Yeah, right now it's all about Alpha 7. What more value? Can you find the other members of Elevate instead? Can you shut down Azar? Can you slow him down? Or maybe even Haru? Because if you can do that, you find yourself a little bit of a lifeline.
Yeah, somebody else needs to be going down. Impressive is really not the guy. He's just like, he's not doing too much at this point. Yeah, he's kind of being a little bit of a nuisance, but he's actually feeding Wise Acer, which is not, again, something that you don't want to do. It's small gold, but it's a little bit of a bump in terms of that net worth. Fury getting a little bit low. With that Haru just chasing after him, he's going to just dash away, and with that set sail going all the way around, it looks like it's going to hit the bottom lane. No, he wants to do the U-turn. He will just get back to the top lane.
Get me his instructor, man. That was clean driving.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he didn't hit any walls. He's much better than I am in that sense, but he's in the top lane and dueling with Niap as well.
Okay, so this is going to be a moment of the game. Yes, if you're new to HOK, 9-1, this is supposed to happen. Elevate are giving the lives of Impressive.
With that Fever Barrage. The damage with Haru as well. Both of those guys, that's an incredible burst.
We were asking for someone else to fall, and this time it is going to be a nice steal, and he's going to start running. Impressive.
Yeah, but that's precipice. I mean, the dash away, Danny, this is going to be super annoying, and he's going to take some tower shots, and it looks like he will eventually fall, and Niap will take that one. He'll happily take the blue.
you know what? At this point, the interesting thing is for Elevate, if they manage to get down the T1 on the top, you know, there is a situation that Impressive might actually steal the buff and make it out.
Yeah, could potentially happen. I mean, it was just enough damage there with that tower shot, so Impressive again, just being annoying. But all that space, that distraction in the top lane has let Haru actually invade, stole away the red buff from Alpha 7.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, he's gonna give it a try again. Impressive. He's doing his job well. Look, they have to commit 3 members now to make sure that he is being taken care of. And meantime, the top T1, this is the true target because they want Impressive to make it out after stealing those buffs.
Yeah. I mean, if they're able to get it, and now with that mirror domain, it looks like it's a bad spot to set sail though, but Haru's gonna be killed. And now Elevate on the run. Hyde is solo. Ysacer finds him out, gets the snipe in. They take the mid T1.
Oh, this is a big one. The turrets here matter a lot to Elevate because it gives them the safety, it gives them the space, it gives them the vision as well. Impressive, he probably has to give his life once again, but it's not too big a problem for Elevate as long as they maintain their turrets.
Yeah, I mean, if he's able to stay, the vision is one thing, but I feel like Impressive right now. This Athena strat is kind of cute. Sometimes it works, especially when you're going up against someone who's a little bit more, you know, struggles against the armor, but now this set sail, finding it, the target, he's going to use his passive, but he's going to be left for dead, and Fury's down for the count.
Okay, he did get some very nice damage down onto the side of Elevate, right? And right now, Danny, he's once again going to be contested. It is important that they don't allow the smite steal, but Impressive. This guy is so irritating right now.
Yeah, he's like that mosquito that cannot be killed. He just like, he's perfectly dodging everything. The Death's Precipice, he looks like he's going to get away from this.
Oh, he give up.
Danny can't actually just chase. He's going to give up.
Okay, so that's the value, right? The main point, he survives, he steals away above, and now Danny will enter fights with a little more need for cooldown reduction.
Yeah, and now Niap all by himself. Haru there with 2. They're not able to get the pick off onto Niap. Oh, now the Fear of Barrage, the flash away. But Impressive was potentially looking to go, but they're going to take the top T1 instead.
Okay, so this is good news for Elevate fans, right? They get the T1 at the top. This is space created for another escape route for the side of Impressive, which is why Alpha 7, they are putting pressure here.
It looks like Alpha 7 are just like giving up on Impressive. They're like, there's no point in hunting him down. If he happens to be around like it seems right now, yeah, we'll go for this one. But it really doesn't want Hyde finding Ysacer. He's in a terrible spot. Oh, the heart link just enough. Bilal with the save. Now Impressive is a little bit low still. He's deciding to go in, trying to go for Fury, who has to use his passive. Impressive will be down.
Not the game plan that Elevate wanted, right? They wanted to go for that snipe kill. Haru was actually caught out by Fury as well. That positioning so clean, which means Alpha 7 now have a decent chance of making it a herd.
Yeah, I mean, look, Alpha 7 are winning this game. That net worth is there. Impressive, yes. However annoying it is, it's still not game-winning at this point. Alpha 7 still have plenty of options in the driver's seat.
Yep, and finally, this is the kind of lead that they want. Danny, he does have the smite. He wants to make life difficult for Haru. Oh, now the tables have turned.
Yeah, taking away that blue, which is going to be huge. Impressive on the other side. I mean, I don't know if they want to funnel that in, but Haru is nowhere nearby. Impressive taking the blue for himself.
Yeah, man. Does it matter?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, but he's gonna constantly farm, right? He's in this top side of the jungle. I mean, if anything, maybe you give it to Azar at this point, but these are the kinds of things that you need to do as a team.
Okay, Haru's gonna commit his mirror domain just to make an escape. This is not looking good. Elevate now trailing by a little bit, close to 1,000 gold in favor of Alpha 7, but they have managed to kind of even out the map pressure, so this is going well.
Yeah, it is going well. The mid T2 very low. The top T2 being completely abandoned. But now the Crimson, now the Fever Barrage is doing some work. Fury uses his passive, stays alive. Impressive is still there. And now, yet again, the set sail is going to connect. And now Hyde looking for Ysacer, but he dashes away. Hyde is looking to go down, but they find Fury in return. And with this, Ivalice very low.
They make a big trade. Now 10 minutes has arrived. Haru, thanks to that distraction by the rest of the team, Elevate do have themselves the 10-minute Shadow Tyrant buff, but Alpha 7 immediately makes a trade for the Shadow Overlord. The map is more important in this particular game.
Yeah, it's like a one-for-one trade in the end. I mean, Impressive, I don't even know if we really count him, but now with that Hound, he finds Haru. who's going to be chased away. He's taking a lot of the damage. The Hound even forward one yet again, and Haru sidesteps.
Yeah, that one was a little too close for my comfort, but Haru does make it out, puts a lot of damage down onto the T2 in the bottom. And that could be the lifeline for the side of Elevate.
Haru, most gold on the map, right? This is the one that you want. He's been doing a great job of being efficient, using all that space that Impressive has given you.
Yeah, but look, Danny's level 14. He is also well on his way to be the raid boss that we know Olga to be.
Yeah, but he is a little bit behind Haru. I mean, obviously he's trying to keep pace. Very difficult to do against a Jing like that. So this is a situation where now, hey, Alpha 7, we can kind of siege. We don't need to be too worried at this point. Yeah, Impressive is around, but let's force Haru to join this fight.
Yeah, in fact, now I think Impressive needs to be very careful about the timer of his deaths, right? He needs to be in a situation where even if he falls, Alpha 7 cannot punish them, because if he falls at the wrong time, it instantly becomes a 4v5, and right now, that's not a situation you want.
Yeah, you cannot do that. It could be devastating in late game, right? So at the same time, Impressive, understanding, and he's going to be killed yet again. But now with this push in the mid lane, look, you've taken all the T2s. If you just stay around, you just could literally just push them in.
Yeah, exactly. And this kind of crushing pressure is not something that Elevate I will appreciate.
Yeah, well, who does appreciate that kind of crushing pressure, right? But Alpha 7 here, they've got that Vanguard. This is going to be looking to go for that bottom T3. Danny over the wall whenever he wants, but it's just a little bit of a two-pronged attack. They're going to go for the mid T3 as well.
They need to stop this bleeding, right? If they get a T3, Alpha 7's game plan will change completely.
Going all the way around, looking for the wraparound. Impressive is providing that vision. He doesn't want to actually commit for this because it's way too far on out.
Look, the timer is up. There is no more value for this side of Impressive unless he makes a steal here.
Yeah, he gets the blue. Impressive just being annoying. Now he's just going to look to run away. Danny's like, no, that's mine. I'll take that.
Yeah, and right now this is where Nyap
doing a little bit of work going on to this one. High, Evil is so low, but Nyap with the Heaven and Earth mode, that seems like enough spacing. The bottom T3 has been taken out. And now Alpha 7 taking the mid T3 as well. And Elevate looking to hold in some fashion.
It's all about pushing them behind. Right now it's a 4v5. Everyone is healthy on the side of Alpha 7. If they get this, this could be the comeback. The first ever reverse sweep in KIC 2025.
If we're able to get there, I mean, Alpha 7 still have some work to do. Impressive, haunting, still annoyingly close to everyone from them. Ivalice is going to be there.
Okay, that's great. That's a nice steal.
It was a nice steal. The nice little Kachus, and they find Impressive yet again. They'll take down the scout.
Okay, Impressive. He needs to put the damage on the White Sasa. Okay, this is a little bit concerning because Impressive, late game, he does offer damage. In fact, if he can take down White Sasa, it could completely flip the script for Elevate.
Yeah, if he's able to find Haru. But now it looks like they find Haru, the mirror domain, but he's going to use it defensively. The dash away. Alpha 7 looks for some sort of catch, but it looks like Fury been killed elsewhere. Haru, though, that's the bigger target. Danny wants to go in. The Death Precipice going to be enough, and Wysacer gets the kill.
Okay, they do get it, but at what cost? Elevate, they have the opening. The T3 is available for the taking on the top. Hide. They're trying to slow down the members on the side of Alpha 7. Not successful. The defense comes through.
Insta recall, right? They got the pick off exactly what you wanted onto Haru. Instantly back on this one. They find Ivalice in a bad spot. The Conductor of Souls, everything going to be thrown at them. They take down Ivalice as well.
And this mine is out for 40 long seconds. Elevate. This one is going to hurt. They need to do something here.
They need to do something, but this is the way. It's going to be split pushing. Hide in the top lane with that top T3. But Azar with the steal on the Shadow Tyrant. Crucial kill theft. And now the dash away by Impressive. He's going to be left for dead, but it doesn't really matter. They got what they wanted, and that was the steal.
They're giving a slight chance here, but they need to survive. Hyde is going to try and run for his life. He does not have the set sail right yet. Alpha 7 as well, pushing in the mid. This needs to be the winning condition right now. Azar, he has to stay alive.
I mean, there's no towers in the mid lane. Hyde has been picked off. Haru now trying to make the play on the Fury. Yes, he's the target because they got him, but Haru is going to be picked off. And Alpha 7, this is a huge moment. A great opening, if you will.
Yep, they will turn this around. Now, bear in mind, the T3 that's left is on the top side, but for a Baron base, Alpha 7, they get this. Essentially, they have a soft guarantee that they could take this series and make that big reverse sweep happen.
Yeah, Ivalice just trying to split push, buying a little bit of time. I mean, Impressive is going to go down yet again. But with these Vanguards, it's going to be very tough. Mid lane, bottom lane, all open at this point. there are very few window of opportunities for Elevate to come back into this one.
Yeah, look, the money's not there yet. Nobody is able to buy the stage's sanctuary, which means this has to be the moment. You lose a team fight, you lose the game here.
All right, impressive, kind of with the KDA that I've had before, 0, 20, and 2, and I'm not even playing Athena. No, I'm just kidding. I've never had that KDA, but that is insane at this stage.
Yeah, it is. And look, impressive right now, 15 seconds. They need to make this a 5v5.
They need to at this point. I mean, once he's up, they need to just hold. Impressive cannot be just like sacrificing his body. The death timers are way too long. The top T3 goes down. Alpha 7 looking to close this out.
They have hollowed out the base of Elevate. This mountain is climbing.
They go in impressive on the back line. Tries to go for Y-Stacer. That's going to be the target. And now the rest of them are going to be there. He's going to be looking to be killed, but they find Evelyn instead. That's a juicier target. And now the Fever Barrage, Fury dodging all of that. Azar is going to be killed. And Alpha 7 off of this one. They're looking to go for this one, and they find Hyde. They get the pick off. The crystal is there. This is a Shadow Vanguard, and Haru just throwing his body at the wing, and it looks like we're going to go to a game 5.
Vamos, Brazil! We are going to game number 5, and this had to happen. I mean, look at the quality they've shown here. Alpha 7, they were having their backs against the wall, and to deal with the impressive Athena strat, a PKL special, it got smashed to the floor.
It indeed got splashed to the floor here. Impressive, tried his absolute best to delay the farming here coming in from Danny's all-ground here, but to no avail. That game went straight into the pockets of Brazil's own Alpha 7 Gaming. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to game 5.
Yes, there is a hope now for Chalk BR, but still that hope stays alive for the PKO fans as well. Elevate. It had to come down to this. I think this is the most deserving result, to be able to fight your way to the last chance possible before you head home.
I mean, the opportunity for a reverse sweep, we haven't seen one a single time in the KIC thus far, but going into this is a great opportunity. They have a lot of momentum. Elevate, on the other hand, they tried to use the Athena strat to kind of counter this and to just close out the series, and it looked like Alpha 7 had all the answers.
Alpha 7 didn't have all the answers here. Early game, if you were to sacrifice yourself as the Athena, you will oftentimes get the small camps first because you do not want to go for those big camp steals because it's still full gold. You want to make sure that when you dwindle down to like multiple devs, that's where you see one dev coming in from Impressive was 17 gold. And if he steals away the enemy camps, that's 127 gold. So you're only losing 17 gold in that process. It's a lot of loss if you are actually stealing away big camps. But the problem is, when this is happening, Haru or the other members coming in for the side of Elevate needs to be stealing more camps to really snowball the game into their favor so that they are not locked into a much more defensive stat.
Right, so let's take a look at the itemization. This gold that you're talking about, right, acquired. Look at the big difference of gold. 13,000 for Y-Sacer here. In fact, what, 13,000 for Danny as well. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that is a lot of money.
It's 16,012. I mean, I know it's an Athena on the other side, but that is a crazy KDA.
I think he's amping his KDA in any case here. If you ever have like a KDA ranking, I'm pretty sure Danny is probably up there in one of those numbers.
Yeah, I'm glad I voted that in the season's predictions there. I think, yes, more than 10 kills in a single game. So I have that down, and I'm gonna double it later.
Is there an option to vote for the lowest KDA? Because some of these Athena roam users probably would be the candidate for it.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, that's some fun we're gonna have off of the broadcast as well and in the game. But this one, Elevate, they felt like this was the best chance. And to be honest, when the Athena came out, I thought this game was done.
Oh, same for me, because let's break it down on why Athena is so good, right? Whereby it's not just about dying, losing goals, stealing away camps. The reason why she's able to steal camps so well is because she does 25% extra damage to monsters, to non-hero units. That includes Smite as well. So imagine, full level Smite is 3,000. She does 3.75. That's more.
Yeah, I mean, it could be super frustrating, but again, Alpha 7, they did such a great job of just not panicking, right, just taking it away, and you could see that the impact, yeah, a couple steals here and there, but it wasn't really that impactful.
I want to point out a specific player, aside from Danny, that is Niap, because a lot of these ganks coming in from the side of Elevate was always on Niap, 2-man, 3-man, and he always negated them to full perfection. I think that player itself, he was absorbing so much pressure coming in from Elevate players that really allowed Y-Sacer on that channel to scale towards that late game.
Right, so we'll be taking a look at the clash lanes head-to-head here. Now, let's take a look at this difference here. You just talked about Nyap, so let's talk about height this time. The set sail on the Sun Tzu, did it really come into full effect here?
Yeah, look, I have said it before, I just don't like the Sun Tzu. I just feel like the impact that he has, the cooldown is way too long. Going into this one, you miss it, you're pretty much a sitting duck. This is like a hero that I understand it's global ban pick and we're 4 games deep now, but that is really not the way you want to go.
I think it's a little bit difficult because, look, the Lady Chun pick for Fury, it provided him the maximum value, right? He was using the Ocean of Tears passive to turn invincible and then throwing down his ultimate. So, you know, Hai was kind of like sending himself to death. Yes, you can sail in water, but you can't sail in ice. And with that, the success of every other member has led to the one man with the highest KDA ever in any game, Danny, our MVP of game number 4.
Yeah, Danny, I know he's going to be super happy with Impressive. Be like, thank you for letting me pad my KDA. Let me get all my kills on you. I mean, 16-0-12, impressive there. He took a lot of damage as well, but a typical auguring game, I would say.
It's a very good recovery coming in from the Alpha 7 squad. Down 2-0, and right now they're 2-2, pushing into a game 5 and potentially a reverse sweep that will remain them in terms of the tournament hopes in KSSG 2025. Right now, we are back to a BO1 setting, and back to your point just now, the reason why Sun Tzu even came out of the moment is that the global ban pick. You already expended 3 top-tier Clash laners and you have to ban out 2 of them. That's how you lose out all the options here coming into this game.
And the most important thing about this game is, look, Azar, once again, he is just singled out. He does not have a place in this fight. He's getting chunked down so quickly. I mean, this is his specialty hero, but I think A7 have done their homework.
And this goes back to the draft that we talk about. If you were to look towards the side of Elevate's draft, it is, I would say, inconsistent at times. No true front line, no true engage and really puts you into much more of a defensive zone whereby
It's going to be the potential last game. Right? They knew that this Athena strat worked. In fact, it worked.
The draft in mind and understanding how to just execute around it. I don't think that there were any questions about this. Alpha 7 starting to find their groove. I like what they're at in going in game 5.
Now, if you're in the shoes of Elevate though, you drafted your hidden pocket pick, which is the Athena roam, and you suffered a loss. What does it put into their mental game here? Because I will say, they were 2-0, and now they're 2-2. It does seem a bit of a momentum shift up going in favor of Alpha 7.
Yeah, look, I think the biggest question to answer here for the side of Elevate is, what do you give Azar at this point? Because he's, look, Chano, Long, as well as the Flowborn marksman, I don't think you give the early to the side of Elevate now. This is last game.
Have to ban.
And every single game thus far coming in from Alpha 7, they have targeted Azar very well. Arlie, Yadirin Jin has been consistently locked away from the MVP player coming in from Elevate.
And this is a very scary potential because we mentioned before, Alpha 7 also famous for playing the Flowborn tank. That's how it's available.
And pay as well.
Yeah, you could go for the foods side lane, you know.
Those are possible picks here, especially the stress of the pick and bans is starting to creep up to Elevate because the likes of the Dharma and Guan Yu has to be a default ban so far based on how well Niap is performing for set Alpha 7.
But you know what? That opens up for both teams. The Fati has not been used by either one, and that's going to be a very strong addition to your side lanes. And that's going to be a tower crusher, which, look, it's HOK. You need to get the crystal to get the win.
Going into this one, of course, I mean, I'm always going to pick the team with the most amount of momentum going in and getting that last 2. Elevate right now, you're at home, right? You were feeling so great after game 2. You had that potential to close it out. You've given 2 opportunities, and now you've equalized into this series. Going into this game 5, you have to be so worried. You do not want to fail in front of your fans, and sometimes that's a bad situation.
Compose yourself. Back to square one. It's no longer a BO5. It's a BO1 with restricted hero pool.
This is where, you know, champions are made. Correct, right? The most pressurizing situation. You don't expect to be champion with ease. It comes with difficulty. And right now, the challenge is for either one of these teams. Look, everything is on your backs. You only have one chance.
Just like you mentioned, Kid, pressure force gems here. And whether or not any of these teams can really tank up the pressure, it will be up to them in this Game 5 draft. This is the final game of day number 4 here, ladies and gentlemen, as is also the final series between Elevate and Alpha 7. One of them will be playing their last series in KSSG 2025.
I feel like I manifested the Game 5 here going in because, again, Alpha 7, I was like, there's no way they get 3-0'd, right? So the ability for this team to just like show that resolve. I mean, we have not seen the Chalk VRs do very well, but Alpha 7, this is a golden opportunity to just put the world on notice and saying, hey, we're a tough out. We're able to reverse sweep you if we need to.
But you know what? Elevate's not going to make that any easier. They take out the Guanyu, one of these specialties for both Clash Nators here. Now, Nyap is not going to have access to that. Do we get the Dharma ban? And of course, Arlie instantly locked out. There's no way. There's no way we're giving Azar.
Based on Azar's performance after those Game 1 and Game 2, targeting him in towards this draft makes a lot of sense here. Similar to Elevate here, I believe it has to be the Dharma ban here coming in for the second ban.
Let's see. I mean, there's still, again, very
potentially the pay.
The pay, yeah, that's a good one too, right? I mean, they don't want to deal with that. And giving that up, like, in Game 5, think if they had that access to that.
But I mean, yes, Impressive does have access into the Zhuangzi for the side of Elevate.
That's true.
Need, right? So I think the Dharma is a safe option for the side of Alpha 7. Let's see if they're going to snap pick that after Elevate gets a taste of what they want for that prio first pick.
If we were to look at the first pick here, it may fall into the priority on towards the Fati that you mentioned about, because so far, from PKL, this is the game of the lifetime.
This is it, everything.
They're going to start off with the Agudo pick. This is a flex pick, meaning Alpha 7 now is a 1. The ball is in your call. What kind of advantage do you want to give to Elevate?
Would Azar play the Agudo? I mean, obviously it's not a possibility, but I think it's going to be interesting because Alpha 7 had done everything to kind of limit it as much as possible.
And this direction that Alpha 7 is taking here might be getting baited into that Zhuangzi counter pick that Kid mentioned just now. So this might be a trap that Elevate has set up for Alpha 7's taken.
But at the same time, we know what the strength of Zhuangzi is, right? Tank, shield. You know what really works wonders? The Garo.
I feel like at this point, if you look at 2 of these picks, you're definitely going to whip out the Zhuangzi here on the side of Elevate. It makes too much sense. Their value is just super high if you do take it right now.
So Elevate, the challenge now is for them. What do you want to play? Is it going to be the Zhuangzi? Because if you don't pick it in this first half, it's going to be banned out.
All right, well, they're going to go with the ladies soon. That's a good farm laner. I think that Azar will definitely be able to shine on this one. So that is something to take note of here. But the Zhuangzi, very much open. I think that there's it's still going to be a really, like, a good counter to what you're seeing thus far.
Okay,
Yixing. Don't go for it. They pick in the Yixing, they drop a double marksman composition here. Ladies, another strong laner towards the farm lane here. Very interested to see what kind of roamer they actually drop. And does Alpha 7 realize the potential threat of this Zhuangzi coming into the third pick?
Oh, gosh.
Musashi for the side of Alpha 7's Dani. There's so much engaged in this draft. They definitely need to take the Zhuangzi ban in the second stage.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a huge mistake here, but Elevate, now they're put in a very peculiar position because now it's the banning phase already. Now this Musashi is going to be a huge problem for the side of Elevate because that one first skill, Illuminating Slash, is going to just cut out every single option, and Alpha 7 said, okay, you want to take the risk, you're going to gamble, I'm going to take that gamble as well.
Yeah, actually a perfect ban. This one, so it had to have been banned here, right? There was no other option on this one. Plus, you don't really know which way they want to go with Impressive here. But Gan and Mo, that's another good ban. They do not want to deal without those blades.
Right, farm lane pool as well, getting dwindled down. I would say that mid lane, there's still decent options here. But I think for the farm lane, potentially there's only the likes of the Consort U, Aaron, Fang available for the taking coming from Wise Acer.
Oh, it's all about making sure that there's no disruptions from the side of Elevate. I like the fact that the Sunmin ban is here because, you know, in a long fight, it's not going to go well. It's a one shot for Niam. If he gets the truth mantra, it's great. But if he gets silence in the middle of it, immediately he becomes useless.
And the time flux, it will bring back HP that doesn't consider the likes of healing reduction because it's not calculated by that. So definitely smart bans here coming in from both teams here. Elevate, removing more of these mid lane pulls here. Ganemo and also Ziya removed from the side of the mid lane, but that's the potential of the new one you talk about here. This game, if it goes towards the lane, it favors Fury so well on this pick.
What's left for Elevate, right? In that roam pool, there is no more Zhang Fei. Lianbo has been picked up.
Liang is possible. There's also the likes of the Dong Huang. There's also the likes of the Gui Buzi. All these are up and available picks for their own liking. It really depends what they actually want in this P5.
Okay, yeah, it's really
Or
important because
Bing, maybe?
Bing is crazy. Really work.
I think Bing is crazy.
Yeah, because you gotta be together, and then duel to the death. If you get caught up by the two of you, then it destroys.
It's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
I feel like they need a frontliner, potentially consider the Dong Huang, even the likes of the Kui. This is such. I gotta say, this is such a daring Game 5 draft by the side of Elevate, and impressive bringing out the Kui in Game 5. My goodness, this is absolutely bonkers.
But this is a reworked Kui. When he lands
Spell
that
one.
first skill, he will be able to get everyone into the void. That's the ultimate. And that could be an impressive play.
Wow. Amazing drafts thus far coming in from both sides here. I am loving Elevate's confidence here. But the thing is, does Impressive land those hooks? If he misses them, it's all over.
And it's also a question of Fury, right? Does he use the creation blocks to push him out when he uses that ultimate? As a Kui player myself, I know the difficulties of this hero. And look, I like it, but this has to happen at the start of the game.
And now, there's also one interesting thing whereby Alpha 7, there's actually a few heroes that could actually block the hook, for example, right?
Yes.
Bilal and also Danny, they have iframes on the invulnerability from the CC, and also, if Wise Sager timed the spell to her ultimate correctly, that could have been also a way to counter out that Kui hook they talk about.
I really like this because, look, there's so many ways this story can turn, and this is a high mechanical match. Everyone needs to land their skill shots. Everyone needs to get those last hits. It all comes down. Every single little thing matters.
And this crazy draft coming in from both sides here for the side of Elevate, banking in the P5 Kui. If this Kui gets the hook of the lifetime in the early parts of the game, in the later parts of the game, this could just be in the favor of Elevate here. But Alpha 7, once again, drafting a very combat, engage heavy draft. They have a bounce house coming in from Dharma, the Lian Po, and also the Musashi here. This is your draft, ladies and gentlemen.
What do you give an edge to, though, Saki?
I feel like in terms of execution, it gotta be A7.
I agree. I think it's going to be a little bit easier. I mean, Kui with those hooks, if he's able to go, this is going to be a tough one, though. It's going to be an exciting one in the end.
To show you the execution, ladies and gentlemen, we are going into the final game of this best of 5. Winner advances to the following stage, and the loser gets the hell out of this tournament. Let's go, Game 5. Let's go, casters.
Let's go indeed. I mean, this is that moment, right? You knew that when an elimination was going to be at stake, we were going to see a Game 5 because both of these teams are very equal in the end. It's going to be sad to see one of them go home.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of quality they have shown us today has been great, right? And to wrap this up with such a drop, you really get to see who is the better team, but not only that, who is the better player.
Yeah, better player, better team, everything. I mean, right now it's been in Alpha 7's favor as they've won 2 games in a row, looking for that reverse sweep, and somehow taking it to Elevate, who had almost all of the momentum, had all of the fans, everybody cheering them. They had all of the energy in the world, and for some reason, for the past 2 games, they have not been able to close this series out.
Hero pools, I think the confidence is definitely taking a hit on the side of Elevate. But like I said, this is where champions are made. You will be handed difficult times, but this is where the strong men are made. This is where the strong teams are made. Can you steel yourself and take the win?
Yeah, can you? I mean, there's going to be a lot of questions here. I mean, either way, whatever happens, right? I think Elevate, there's going to be some questions. If they cannot pull this one out, like what happened? Why did they crumble? On the other side, it's like Alpha 7. Why did it take you so long to wake up, but only to falter in Game 5? So, again, both of these two teams, they have so much at stake at this one.
Yeah, man, you can tell both teams play extreme safe at this point. 5.4 thousand for the side of Elevate, 5.3 for Alpha 7. Nothing sets these two teams apart.
Yeah, and impressive there. Looking for that right moment. Hasn't used the join me hook attempt at this point, but he's just waiting in the wings. Again, you just want to be very patient more than anything else with him.
Yeah, but I think this is one of the strong suits, right? And Impressive is a very basic person. I mean, the way they play Zhang Fei, the unbridled offers knockups, knockbacks as well. You know he's able to find those clinical moments. He also knows where to position himself for the perfect aim.
He's been in this brush for so long, but he does not want Bilal. Bilal's like, come on, come on, come on. And now he spots him out. But, I mean, those guys are big, just like kind of baiting each other more than anything else. But Impressive, again, just looking for Sacer. If he's able to get that hook, that might be that kill.
It's all about the body blocking, right? So Bilal has a very big job here. He needs to make sure he stays in front of Sacer. More importantly, stay in front of Impressive.
Yeah, and if he's able to keep him alive, it's like Operation Human Shield. Just be in front of him. Sacer is the guy who's going to carry you. But let's talk about Katsu Yu ladies soon. If you're giving a one-on-one in a vacuum, which one are you going to give an edge to?
I think it's going to be the Katsu Yu, right? Because the protecting wings actually gives you a lot of value here.
Yeah, okay. All right, I do think so. I think it has a little bit of play here. Azar, but now they find the truth, and this is going to set things up with that point. But the final frenzy, keeping him alive. He flashes away the annihilation, a little off the mark.
Punish.
And hide, and now they're turning it around. They find Danny, and they do end up getting first blood. Haru with a nice little rotation in the bottom lane. He has the emergence, and Sacer gets the pick up on Azar. And now with that bounce around, they find Ivalice, who gets the kill on a Sacer, and they get a double Ivalice. And they're turning this around, and they take Fury as well and Elevate with a 3-for-1.
But the adrenaline is coming through. Alpha 7, they overcommitted. Danny was stuck at the wall. He couldn't dash out.
Sometimes you're a little too big-boned, right? You can't get over the wall, but now finding the truth used yet again. High taking so much, but he's gonna limp away.
No, but that's good value. That's time bought. Okay, he does have the TP back, but you don't get a kill. And Alpha 7 don't get a response. They don't get that prize they're looking for.
Yeah, don't get the response as well. I mean, they're down about 600 gold. The biggest thing is they cannot panic. This Tyrant, a little bit more of a lead in terms of Elevate, but right now, things are looking good for the Elevate squad.
Yeah, okay, that's one main reason why they go for this Clash lane, because you need a level of advantage. Clash laners are very vulnerable because it's a 1v1 matchup end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, level 6 to 7, I mean, High just levels up right now, but the bottom T1, and this is the power of the Agudo, you're able to siege at a very early stage of the game.
Yeah, this is maximum value. Take a look at this, 4.5 minutes in. This T1 essentially is gone from the side of Alpha 7 at the bottom side of the map. So Elevate, great job on that. What more can they extract?
Yeah, and actually the net worth lead, I mean, it's like literally close. I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point. 4-1, I mean, the kills tell a different story, but Alpha 7 not panicking, realizing that actually, let's just go for the late game, we'll be fine.
All right, okay, I think it's good advice that they're not panicking. I would say maybe try to panic a little bit. You need more going on to Fury there.
Okay, all right. Well, you talk to Fury. I don't want to talk to him. You tell him, all right? You tell him to his face that he needs to farm more. I mean, he's doing what he can. I think that if we're looking at this lineup, Danny and Sacer are the guys. If they can funnel more farm into them, they're going to have a better time. Fury will pick it up. He needs to be that third guy, though.
I mean, right now it's just a race of gold, right? Number one, Sacer and Nazar, who gets more gold, who hits that item spike earlier. For Fury, it really is, can you get that item that's necessary to get the burst damage in? Right now, they do manage to put Danny behind, but then this puts Azar at risk.
Yeah, he's gonna be at risk, but he's as long as he's just staying away, using those rolling raids to get to safety, not getting out of position, he should be fine.
Yeah, and I think it's also a challenge for Alpha 7. I don't think you get the kill on the High with ease at all. The double life is so irritating.
Yeah, it is, and Danny is now here. He tries to go for the truth. That's gonna set things up, and now the final frenzy used the dual death to slow him down even more, and they will chase him down, and with that annihilation, just in case they do end up getting the kill regardless.
Okay, but they give a T1 at the bottom, and there's no trade to be had, right? Elevate actually make a response in the form of Ivalice. Great response from Elevate. This is what they need.
Yeah, what they need. They burned down the bottom T1. Now they're making they're tearing their attention to the mid T1. They throw out Furball, and they're not able to get it. It's very close in the end. One last shot, Haru gets it.
Yep. And also they get the Azure Golem maybe. The Lao one, he needs to push them away.
Needs to push them away, definitely. You need to defend your buffs at this point. Danny will pick this one up. He will use the smite too, but Haru on the other hand doing a good job of farming. He's 100 gold over Danny.
Yeah, look, I cannot re-emphasize how important this Azure buff is for Danny. He needs the CDR, he needs the mana regeneration. He needs the mana regeneration as well. Danny, CDR is more important.
Yeah, now impressive. The burst ramp bouncing them around. Impressive's in the bad spot. Looks like he's going to be going down, and it looks like Alpha 7 with that pickoff, they have the man advantage, looking to go top and mid at the same time.
But it's a big commitment, right? You had to use the Annihilation. You also had to use the Tremor Smash from Villau 1. So right now, Elevate actually can make it hurt a little bit more. T2 under pressure.
No, but if you're able to take the top T1, defend the bottom T2, excuse me, I think that it's all in all, it's worth it, right? So Villau here, just spacing it out. Haru will look to just take over the enemy jungle.
I think the biggest thing is the fact that YCSA is farming, right? Solo farming, same job as Azar. Right now, this is a race to the finish, race to the end. Who buys the tickets to go home first?
Yeah, well, nobody wants to buy that ticket, but Danny going in for the duel, finding him, and now he's on the run. Hyde, he might be chased around. The final frenzy, that's going to be the first life. Danny will eventually let him go, but here come the reinforcements, the annihilation. It's going to be sidestep. Niap looking for that truth. Hyde looking to pump fake him around. He goes around for this one, and now he gets the truth set up, and Hyde is going to go down with a Tremor Smash.
Okay, why do they keep going for Hyde? Because when Hyde is not part of the equation, it's a 4v5, and Alpha 7 will win that fight every single time because Fury will be safe, YCSA will be safe.
Yeah, it looks like every time Hyde dies, Elevate pick up another tower, right? They've done such a good job of using that space. Now they're on the run. Wave 7 need to make them pay.
Yeah, the wraparound by Danny. He needs to look for the target. Azar or Haru, which one does he want?
He goes for Impressive of all people, but Danny, now he dives in. He finds Haru, and Impressive has already been killed. It looks like Haru is going to get back to safety, but they find Ivalice. They get Azar as well, and that's going to be a great turn of events for Alpha 7. 3 members down from Elevate.
Yep, and all of the damage in the world now. YCSA with the Crimson buff. The Lao one as well with the Crimson buff. And this is all golden and gravy for the side of Alpha 7.
They're up about 2K at this point, but they need to turn this into towers. They're going to chip away at the mid T1, and this is going to open things up, trying to equalize the damage that Elevate had done to their own side.
Okay, they commit the ultimate. They will save the T1, and perhaps there is a life to be taken. No, it will not be. Alpha 7, they are unable to find the T1 in the mid. So Elevate, they buy themselves a little bit more time here.
A little bit more time indeed, but I mean, if you're looking at Impressive, I just feel like the hooks haven't really been on point. Obviously, the one time he gets the perfect into the void, I think that it might be game winning, but at this moment, for 9 minutes in, we haven't seen too much value here.
Yeah, I mean, as a quick player, chill. I will get the hooks.
No, don't tell me what to do with the Annihilation. That's going to do some damage, and Haru is down for about 30 seconds. No other follow-up here.
The biggest thing is not that Haru fell, it's the fact that he will have no buffs, and this T1 is guaranteed. Alpha 7 now, open up the gorge a little bit more. The Fog of War is having the same kind of difficulty for both teams.
Yeah, Shadow Tyrant going to be started here. Alpha 7 doing a great job, understanding that, hey, this Haru pick-off turned into a T1 and the Shadow Tyrant, great value.
All right, 4,000 a hit, no, 3,000 a hit for the side of Alpha 7. That's the hook we're looking for, right? But hey, Alpha 7, how many creeps have you played against? Too many. They know that hook is coming.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the hook is a little bit obvious at times. I mean, it's going to happen later on when that team fight is happening, but that initiation, if he hits the perfect hook and he misses yet another Impressive, is not impressive on that one. The Azure Golem is going to look to be going down, and now with Villau on the backside, they make Impressive pay for missing all of them.
Yep, not ideal for the side of Elevate. Alpha 7, they're feeling strong. The dive is available from the side of Danny as well. The T2 is a true prize, though, because this is a game of bases, of resources.
I love the way Alpha 7 are moving. They take the top T2, and Niap is like, all right, you already got this one, but now they find even more. Niap looking to go in. Azar gets sniped out with that Annihilation. Hits him with a through.
Yeah, that could be the end. The force, the flash from Hyde as well. It's one man against the world of Alpha 7. The
here as well as Hyde. Somehow they need a hole. They have the knockback into the void, but he's been killed instantly. And it looks like they've gotten Hyde and Alpha 7 complete the reverse sweep.
First one ever in KIC 2025. Chompia stays alive.
Vamos, Brazil. Welcome Alpha 7 as you continue on your lower bracket journey towards this KIC 2025. Your next opponent will be Bigatron by Vitality for the survival, for the contention of that playoff spot.
My liver breathes a sigh of relief.
Mine too. I mean, at this point, my whole body breathes a sigh of relief, but it is not the same for PKL fans.
Exactly. For PKL fans, Elevate fought strong and hard. This is where they will bid goodbye towards the stage of KIC 2025. But I believe this is not the last time we will be seeing them, as this season has taught them a lot, and they will come back stronger than ever. Thank you, Elevate.
In an elimination game, there's always going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. Unfortunately, today we see Elevate leave the stage, and as well as KIC. It's going to be another lifeline for Alpha 7 as they move on, but they still have a mountain to climb ahead of them. They have a long way to go.
Yeah, it's even higher because this time it's going to be Bigatron by Vitality. And once again, we'll give our support to the PKL hopefuls. Their journey ends here. It is the end of the road for them. But it is not the end of the road for HOK. They will come back into PKL and we'll see their growth once again.
Oh, that was a heck of a series, lads. That was all the way 5 full games. And we were thinking like, hey, when Athena came out in game 4, that could be it for the side of Elevate. But it is the composure, the calm execution